from overseas, and I think that mixture has just been a little bit off recently.
I think part of it as well is going from international cricket to a club cricket setup. In international cricket, somebody's out of form, you drop him and bring somebody else in. You have almost a limitless pool of players, don't you? You don't just have a squad of 20, you have every single professional cricketer who is qualified to play for your country. And in Derbyshire, they don't have, well, they do, but they'd have to pay for a 30-man squad.
They have to prop themselves.
So I do think that he has found county cricket. I think if you, again, it's one of those, you have to pin him against the wall in a dark alley and say, no, tell us what you really think, Mickey. I think he would say that it has been tougher than he expected. But I think that makes him even more determined to succeed, because he's been relatively successful everywhere. When he was the coach at South Africa, he won a Test series in England, which is no mean feat. When he was coach at
Look at the players he had for that, though.
Oh, absolutely. But that's the thing, isn't it?
Well,
and if one of them's out of form or pulls up lame, yeah, no question. But then he took Pakistan to the Champions Trophy victory as well, didn't he? When they weren't really expected, I don't think, to be the winners of that competition. So he's had success. If he walked away now, I think it would be regarded as a failure. And there is no appetite at the top level of this club to get rid of him. I know that for a fact. So if he's not going anywhere, he's going to be here for the duration, because they'll not get rid of him.
Well, that's the thoughts of Dave Fletcher, your match commentator today. Tom Wood, former Derbyshire man. I've enjoyed that. That was a good discussion, putting the world to rights for the first half an hour. Yeah, 29 minutes past 2. If you're just joining us and expecting a 2:30 start, it was delayed until 3 o'clock. We will get news of the toss shortly. We're also going to look back on a terrific result against Leicestershire in this very competition just yesterday. That's all on the way next on BBC Radio Derby. We'll get news of the toss first, I think, and then we'll go to the highs. Cool, thank you. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I don't want to put you in an uncomfortable position, so I don't tell me if I'm prying too much, but no worries. I just think it's interesting. Well, a couple of the Yorkshire fielders out in front of us hitting the ball right over towards our gazebo, and they're right on the boundary at the moment. You're getting a real taste of just how close these supporters are, how close we are in our broadcast position. The pavilion is just over our left shoulder, and the toss is taking place in the middle of the field at the moment. We'll bring you news of that shortly when we get it. We're just looking on at the moment and seeing if that's taking place. Samit Patel over there talking with the umpires as well, going through that process. Tom, when you have a delayed start like this, how much does that offset preparation?
Yeah, it can do, and preparation's always a little bit different here at Queen's Park as well, because you don't have as much net facilities. So normally before a game, guys would be over in the nets practicing hitting, whereas now it's a lot more just hitting balls underarms into a net and getting yourself going that way. The teams have known for a while now that it's going to be a 3 o'clock start, so I think preparation should be fine now.
Well, it looks like Derbyshire are going to have a bowl, Dave Fletcher.
They won the toss, yes. Samit Patel won the toss last night and bowled first, and it worked for them, and he's done exactly the same here this afternoon. I can also tell you that it's an unchanged 11 from last night, which isn't a major surprise. So Lewis Rees will open the batting with an Aaron Donald, David Lloyd, Wayne Manson, Samit Patel, Ross Whiteley, Brooke Guest, Alex Thompson, Zach Chappell, Pat Brown, and Mohammad Amir will make his home debut, although he still hasn't played at the county ground. He played last night, bowled really nicely to start with, came back at the tail end, which is always a difficult time to bowl, and was a little more expensive, but he will get wickets for Derbyshire, I'm absolutely no doubt about that when he makes his home debut today.
So Tom, Derbyshire staying with the bowl?
They are, yeah, and I'd expect it to be Alex Thompson up top as well. He did brilliantly well here last year against Yorkshire. Their top order is littered with left-handers, with Adam Life, Darryl Milan, Sean Masood, and it does spin here at Chesterfield and get that extra bounce. Tomo's a big lad, so he'll exploit that from the wicket as well. So I'd expect to see him start in the power play against the two left-handers.
I think Mohammad Amir will get the first, and Mohammad Amir gets what Mohammad Amir wants. I think that's how it works. Because I was talking to Marie Kelly, who was with us yesterday as a summariser. She was keeping me calm yesterday. You've got to do it again this afternoon. And she was saying they played on the pitch that's 2 across from here. I thought it was going to be the same pitch, but it was 2 across for the Blaze on Friday. And in the women's game, bowling from the Lake End, it was a little bit spicy. Now I've seen Mohammad Amir sorting his run up out from here because he wants to run downhill, of course, but he might have been better coming uphill if he'd listened to what had happened on Friday. But I think on this pitch, which has only just been mowed, it's still got a little tinge of green on it as well. I think he could be a handful.
Yeah, he could. It is always a little bit spicy at Chesterfield. You get the odd one that bounces a bit more than it maybe should. I remember a 50-over game actually a few years ago here against Yorkshire, and I think it was one more ball away from it being abandoned due to a ropey pitch. So hopefully, like you said, it's only just been cut. It does look a bit green, a bit of moisture around, undercovers all day, all night. I'm sure it'll do a bit up top.
I was talking to David Griffin when we were out in the middle before, and he tells a terrific story that I've seen elsewhere, but he tells it so well, about the touring West Indians back in the day with Andy Roberts and all the real nasty quick bowlers. And they came here, and Clive Lloyd went out for the toss. They removed the covers, and the 3 quicks were being left out. Michael Holding was never going to play because it was against Derbyshire, but the other 3 quicks have been given the day off, or the match off. It would have been a 3-day game. Clive Lloyd looked at the pitch, whistled and called them back, and apparently they were devastating. Andy Roberts was described as being like an assassin that day. He never says a word anyway, barely says anything when he appealed, and he was absolutely on it. So him, Pat Brown, Mohammad Amir, Zach Chappell, they all, I think, love bowling on this. But you're absolutely right. Samit with his spin, if we want to call it that.
Running again.
4 overs for 24, and Tomo, who you say has got good memories of this place from last year. It looks all set up for Derbyshire to bowl well. So we all know what's going to happen now, don't we?
Yeah, commentators curse and all that. And Mohammad Amir will enjoy this occasion, though, won't he? This is a proper welcome to Derbyshire moment for him, playing here in Chesterfield at Queen's Park in front of 5,500.
Yeah, it is. Like Fletch mentioned before, it is a great atmosphere. It's the best atmosphere of the year for a Derbyshire game, and it is a real introduction, a good taste of county cricket here in Derbyshire to play at Chesterfield in front of a packed house.
Well, he made his debut yesterday in a win against Leicestershire. Let's look back on it. Thank you.
Cross them off from
Thank you. Thank you. Fletch,
Yeah.
is Samit's interview worth respinning or not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
Okay. Mitch, could you get Samit Patel's interview, please, from yesterday? Is that all right? Just as soon as possible, really, and I'll probably just link into it. We'll talk about him. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, mate. Well, you can keep it on because I'll just say he spoke to Dave Fletcher, so I'll just drag it in, mate. That's fine. So is it there, mate? And then I... Thank you. Cool. Thank you. I'll go straight into it. Thank you. Well, without doubt, the player of the match yesterday was Samit Patel. He's out to our left-hand side going through his warm-up. So let's hear his reaction to that victory yesterday. He spoke to Dave Fletcher. Perfect. How long do you think we'll get out before 6, Fletcher?
We might do without reaction.
Okay. Well, we can say...
Get reaction on the...
Boost the score. Yeah, or out the crease, yeah.
And we can hear it tomorrow night, I would imagine.
Yeah, Sports Unit 6 I'll play.
You got anything else?
Yeah, do the Sam Jones thing. And I'm going to Royal Farm at some point, but I don't think that'll be tomorrow.
Put it on the podcast, so go ahead and say that, definitely.
I would like to have included that first half an hour in the pod.
Yeah.
I know I always end up going over it, but I just think it's...
You know my answers, though.
Yeah, I don't know what he's...
No, absolutely.
Sack him.
I really hope it's not this ice to end we're into the stream.
No, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got to be careful. This goes to the stream. They won't come on you. So.
And as promised, those lineups for this afternoon, starting off with the Vikings, 94 Shamasu, 9 Adwai,
I think we've done.
Darren Malan, 2 Donovan Pereira, 23 James Walker,
Quite down.
18 George Hill, 26 Ben Cliff, 44 Jordan Thompson, 77 Matt Relis, 11 Dan Moriarty, and 47 John Bess. And your Falcons lineup this afternoon, 21 Samit Patel, 10 Lewis Reese, 29 Wood Guest, 77.
And give it 4. I was like, what? Literally went straight into the stand. You can see it on the stream as well. It went straight into the stand. Right, it was a tight game chasing the score. I was like, here we go.
Captain Samit Patel just making his way towards the pavilion now. Great performance from him yesterday. Bit of a discrepancy that he didn't shy away from Fletch with one of the fielders. Ball clearly going for 6.
Well, I didn't think he'd shy away from it.
No. Ball clearly going for 6.
Yeah.
He calls it a 4. The umpire then agrees with the fielder.
Yeah. Well, cricket's, we talked about it briefly at the end of the game last night when Chris Coles asked me about it. Cricket's one of those games, a bit like golf, where if you touch the ball or your ball moves, you say, well, there's a shot. A bit like snooker, if you imperceptibly touch the white or it's touching and all the rest of it, the player himself will say, yeah, now give himself up if you like. Well, Lewis Goldsworthy, who was mentioned by Samit Patel there, was the man who was closest to the ball as it went over the boundary. Sort of shrugged his shoulders as if to say, I've no idea. Well, he was very close to the ball. And in commentary, I suggested that Jimmy Neesham, former Derbyshire player, of course, would have had the perfect view. The ball went out over cow corner. He was at square leg, and he had the perfect view. And I started to get messages straight away saying it was clearly 6. We watched it on the stream. It was a 6, and as Samit said there, in a run chase when they needed 185. I think Derby Griffin, who was almost taken us off air, said this morning it's about something like the 8th or 9th best, most successful run chase that Derbyshire have had in their history. They're not a team that gets 200 as a rule. It could have made all the difference. Fortunately, it didn't. Samet took it out of everybody's hands, then Zach Chappell came in and smacked a couple of fours in the way that Zach Chappell tends to do when he's on song, and everything was all right. But it could have been an unsavoury moment. Nobody likes that.
You had a similar moment, Tom, at Edgbaston. You were just telling us.
I did, yeah. It was, I think it was 2021 in a run chase. Hit one off Bresnan over long on for 6. Well, it was quite straight, but towards long on for 6, and it actually went into the stands. The umpire gave it 6 originally, and then for some reason that is still unknown to me, changed his mind. And like I said, it was a run chase and it was relatively close.
So he's given it, and then changed his mind.
Gone back and changed it, and it was clearly 6. It went straight into the seats. You can see it on the stream as well.
But they're tiny margins, but they can make the difference in T20.
Yeah, especially in a chase when we was cruising at one stage, and then we had a few quick wickets, and then it got tight, and it was like, oh, we're going to mess this up.
Can I just say at this point, you got Derbyshire home, didn't you, that day, buddy? I remember speaking to you after the game.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was all well at end. If we lost by a run, it would have been...
And you wouldn't have spoken to me.
I wouldn't have spoken to anybody, no. I would have been speaking to the umpire, that's for sure.
Fletch, Samit Patel, though, doing what Samit Patel does yesterday, and exactly what was expected. I mean, he's done it a few times this summer so far, but a top performance, and as I mentioned, going into that interview there, without doubt, the player of the match.
No question, yeah. 2 for 27 with the ball, which is very, very Samit Patel. I think it's the first time he's conceded 27 runs. I was going through all the runs, and he's had 23, 24, 26, 28. He bowls 4 overs for 20-something pretty much every time. To get 2 wickets on top of that, and the way he celebrates is always fantastic as well. And then when he came out to bat, he played 1 or 2 interesting shots, shall we say. But he hit 9 4s and 2 6s, 44 ball, 67 to see the ball. It was interesting because at Trent Bridge the other week, I'm not suggesting we were criticising him, but we were criticising him a little bit because he clearly wanted to go out there and score the winning runs, and the thinking behind the whole game seemed a bit muddled to me, the way they were sending players in like Zach Chappell and things like that. Yesterday he came in at the right time, he played the perfect innings, and didn't take an enormous number of risks. You've got to take a certain amount of risk in T20 cricket, and that's what the whole game's about. But there was some clean hitting from him, and he saw them over the line. So that's now 2 games that Samit Patel has won for Derbyshire. Not single-handedly, clearly, but had a huge impact on Ross Whiteley, had a major impact on the home game against Nottinghamshire with that 46 or whatever it was from 12 balls or something ridiculous at the end of the innings, which really gave Derbyshire the momentum to go on and win that game. We've seen an Aaron Donald as a ball smashing into a desk just to our right. I didn't see that one at all. And Aaron Donald has scored 50 off 19 balls twice and 21 balls once, and only once of those innings, one of those innings out of the 3 has been a match-winning innings. Well, all 3 really should have been, given the start that he's got Derbyshire off to. So what you need is, in a qualifying competition, to me, in T20, you need your big players to possibly win 2 games apiece. And if your big players win 2 games apiece, you're going to get 10 wins. Comfortably, you're going to get 10 wins. And it hasn't quite happened for Derbyshire, but Samit's now won 2, and he's got the power to add. I fully expect Mohammad Amir to win them at least a couple of the last 5 matches with his bowling. And he will be expected to as well, because he's been brought over at not inconsiderable expense, I would suggest. And he's got just the 6 games here as well, so he can give it absolutely everything.
We expect them to go and get Derbyshire wins this summer. Will the players be expecting that as well, Tom?
Yeah, definitely, especially with the players in the squad that's been assembled. You've got guys like Lewis Rees, who's sat out most of the competition. He's been a staple of the side for the last, ever since he signed, really. Harry Kane did brilliantly the last couple of years.
Mads, of course, has won many games, hasn't he, over the course of...
Yeah. So when you see a group of players with the experience, and like we spoke about before, who've actually won T20 competitions and white ball competitions around the world, everyone will look around and think, oh wow, we've got a proper side here. We're expecting to go out and win these games.
Who are the dangers from a Yorkshire point of view?
I don't think you can look past Adam Life and Barry Milan up top. David Milan has been number one T20 batter in the world. He's obviously had a great career for England. He's always an incredibly dangerous player. He did well in the last game at Headingley as well. So he's a very dangerous player. In turn, they've got Donovan Ferreira as well. He strikes a clean ball at the end. Did really well in the SA20. He hits a big ball. So yeah, Sean's obviously a brilliant player as well. And a few good young lads as well who've done well. James Wharton, George Hill.
Wharton got his maiden first-class century in the championship match here, so he's got good memories of Chesterfield. Jordan Thompson is labelled the man who makes things happen. He tends to, either with the bat or the ball. He can hit the ball a long way, and he can pick up wickets as well. He's one of the most irritating players in an opposition that you could wish to meet. But they look quite batter-heavy to me, with Masood and Lyther, Milan and Ferreira, who you've already mentioned, James Wharton, George Hill. They look quite batter-heavy to me. So if the Derbyshire bowlers can get among them nice and early, then that will give them a huge advantage.
When you're out there warming up and you're looking over at someone like David Milan, where does that come into your thinking? Do you try and sort of eliminate that thought process from your mind? His record, his incredible CV.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to take that away from him. Obviously, you see guys like that, and you play against them, and you know how good they are. But it just means that you've got to be on your A game. You've got to put your performance in and be on top of it. Otherwise, you know, if you miss or you don't quite execute, that you are going to get punished. And realistically, everybody wants to try and play the highest level of cricket they can, and you want to try and play against some of the best players in the world and test yourself. So if you go out there and deliver against someone like David Milan, who's had the career that he's had, he's a brilliant player, it means that little bit more.
It'd be interesting to see what they do towards the tail end of their bowling innings, because in the first half of this competition, the first 8 matches, they had Joe Root, and they were using him with his spin in sort of overs 15 onwards. It was remarkable. He didn't bowl, and then all of a sudden he came on and didn't concede any runs. That's what essentially did for Derbyshire. Certainly one of the things that did for Derbyshire up at Headingley. There is no Joe Root now. Obviously there's no Harry Brook, Johnny Bairstow, no, they called him by his dad's name. Johnny Bairstow is having a rest, bless him, after a very long and tiring World Cup campaign, even though he's not in the England Test squad. So they're not, I mean, if they had all their stars, they would be very, very formidable indeed. They're just below being very formidable, and with the record that Derbyshire have got, and some of those players have played here in losing sides as well, they won't be too scared. And then you go to places, even like you go to Leicester, and they've got Jimmy Neesham, who's had a terrific white ball career, and Paul Sterling came in at number 3, who can smash the ball an absolute man. You're not going to see many twos. He's a bit like Sammy, but when he hits the ball, it stays hit. And so I would imagine, I mean, again, I've never been in opposition, but I would imagine you almost become immune to who's in the opposition, because they're looking at Derbyshire and seeing Mohammad Amir and they're seeing Wayne Madsen, who's taken them apart on a number of occasions in the past, and Pat Brown, who's played for England as well. So it's not as if it's a one-way street, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. You rightly mentioned they are very top-heavy with the batting, and I know last game Sean came in lower down the order. I think they do try and split up that left-hand combination at the top. Obviously Adam Life and David Milan, and Sean would be another left-hander, and I think they try and split that up as much as they can. And yeah, like you rightly said, if they have the full cohort of England stars, then it's like an all-star, a proper all-star. They're all attacking England 18, so they're not as strong as they could be. But yeah, they're still always a very, very strong side.
Well, we're getting ready, 10 minutes to go until we get started in this delayed start time of 3 o'clock. It was due to get underway at 2:30, but heavy rainfall around Chesterfield this morning has resulted in a half an hour delay. So 3 o'clock we start in this T20 blast match between Derbyshire and Yorkshire. The mascots, just to my left-hand side, we're in a gazebo here at Chesterfield this afternoon. So we are right on the boundary, really. There's just a bit of a slab of concrete in between us and the boundary. To our left-hand side is the pavilion. To our right-hand side is the corporate hospitality, where they get a gazebo like us, but theirs has windows as well, so they can sit under shelter and have a look through. So they're really getting their money's worth, and they get metal chairs. So I guess that's the...
And there's a bar in there as well.
That's premium. That's premium. Yeah. Let's not pretend. We've been fed as well. So yeah, we're enjoying our afternoon, but we do await the 2 two sides making their way out. We talk about all the experience of these players like Mohammad Amir, we talk about Samit Patel, but how important will Wayne Madson's experience on this very ground be, maybe to those players that are playing here for the first time and getting those little details and those little nuggets of information that could be a difference maker?
Yeah, absolutely. Mads is always a vital piece in any Derbyshire jigsaw that you're trying to put together. With all the experience in the world, he's played here at Chesterfield more than any of the other players. Like you said, some of the guys will be coming here for the first time having not played, so I'm sure they'll have spoke to Wayne and some of the other guys about how it plays and getting a few little tips and tricks from Wayne as an experience of playing here so many years.
How much will he enjoy playing here?
Wayne?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Wayne loves coming here to Queen's Park. It's one of the best days on the calendar. You always look out for it when it is. Like Fletch mentioned earlier, playing in a full crowd at Queen's Park against Yorkshire in the T20, it's as good an atmosphere as you're going to get as a Derbyshire player. So yeah, everyone will be looking forward to it.
How important is it for Derbyshire during the power play? You start with the ball. If you're just joining us now for the 3 o'clock start, they start by bowling here this afternoon. How important is it to nullify that attack of Yorkshire then early on in the power play?
Yeah, it always helps to get off to a good start. Like we mentioned previously, Yorkshire do set up pretty top heavy with some big names and experience up the top, and then some of the younger guys in the middle order, lower order. So if Derbyshire can make inroads into that top order, get some of the big names out and put the young guys under a bit more pressure in the middle overs, that'll be a great start for them.
What are these moments like as a cricketer when you're just waiting for the start?
Yeah, it depends. If you're a bowler, you're getting ready to bowl, I'm sure they'll be a little bit nervous until they get out there and get the first ball bowled. Similarly, when you're batting first and you're opening batter, waiting to bat, always a little bit nervous no matter how many games you've played. So yeah, it's just...
Did you have any routine at this point in time if you were coming out to bat?
Not really a routine, just... I have a little like stretching routine as I walk out of the line, a few heel flicks, side steps just to get the feet going, but apart from that, nothing too crazy.
Well, the umpires lead out Derbyshire, Samit Patel high-fiving the mascots. Zach Chappell on the left-hand side and the rest of the team behind them. The Falcons are out, and a ripple of applause goes round here at Chesterfield. We await the batters of Yorkshire. We're going to start with the bat today, and they're going to be wanting to get off to a quick start as they make their way out of the pavilion to our left-hand side now. And there is Adam Live and David Milan making their way out. And you can hear almost that gives you a good insight into perhaps the balance of the crowd here this afternoon, and the Yorkshire fan base certainly getting behind their side, slightly louder than that ripple of applause for Derbyshire, Tom.
Yeah, it's like Fletch mentioned, there's generally more Yorkshire fans here than there are Chesterfield. It's not too far for the Yorkshire fans to come down, and it is such a good game, a good atmosphere to be a part of. It's well worth the trip.
Well, can Derbyshire do 2 from 2 this weekend in the T20 Blast? They ticked off Leicestershire yesterday. It's Yorkshire in their way today. We'll hand over to your commentary team. This commentary is available on digital radio, the BBC Sport website app, and 11:16 a.m. Dean Jackson is on FM. But right here, we're staying with the Blast. Easy Match commentator Dave Fletcher.
Thank you, Tom. And we're going to see Mohammad Amir, unsurprisingly, running downhill to begin with from the pavilion end. A very familiar-looking field. Men out are at sort of backward point in the far distance and backward square leg. So one of them will be Pat Brown, I imagine, and the other one will be Ross Whiteley. That's generally how these things work out. Mohammad Amir will be bowling to Adam Lyth, another former Test player for England, of course, along with Milan. And the 2 umpires, I don't think we've mentioned the umpires yet, Graham Lloyd and Richard Kettleborough, a Lankey and a Yorkshireman, as Mohammad Amir bowls, and I fancy he got some swing there, because Lyth eventually left the ball but was very tempted, would he?
He was, yeah. It looked like there was a bit of swing here from Mohammad Amir first up, which we were to expect.
You've got the... I'll just turn Dom off before he takes us all off air. He's got himself another small meal. Quite right too. Sterling work in the first hour. Mohammad Amir on his way in. past the umpire now. Left arm over, of course, and that's left alone again by Adam Lyth to go through to Brooke Guest. You might notice a slight difference to Mohammad Amir's shirt. He doesn't have the Derbyshire sponsor on the front for obvious reasons. He's the only one who doesn't have it on. Everybody else pretty uniform. As one at backward square leg has just been told to move a little bit squarer out there in the far distance, a long way away from us here. It's even trickier to pick out the fielders on the boundary when there's a full house, because they sort of blend in a little bit. But a good start by Derbyshire. 2 deliveries gone and no runs on the board. Mohammad Amir is in, and that one is launched out into the sort of wide third man area, and it's gone for 4. Pat Brown couldn't get round in time. Sort of took a chance there, Lyth, but with everybody bar 2 up inside the ring, it's a relatively safe shot.
Yeah, it's just swung out into the channel. Lyth's gone for the cover drive. It was more of a thick edge over short third man for 4, I think. But like you said, Fletcher's a little bit trickier here at Queen's Park to see exactly what's happening and see the angles and pick out who's fielding where.
Pat Brown's gone back to that sort of backward point on the boundary area. He hasn't been tempted to go towards third man. That one's down the leg side and signalled wide by Graham Lloyd. And it's 5 without loss here at Queen's Park. In sort of watery sunshine at the moment, but it's a different scene to what it was at 11 o'clock. I posted a video on the BBC Derby X feed, and it was hosing it down. It was unbelievable. You would never have thought they would get a game of cricket in here today, but here we are, a full 20 overs aside, half an hour later than advertised, but Amir is in, and that one has gone past the edge of Lyth's bat. He had a full swing at that. Not sure how he hasn't got a nick.
Yeah, there's that extra bounce as well. It can be quite almost tennis bally here at Queen's Park with the new ball. That's really full. He's gone to drive it, and it just stood up a little bit on Adam Lyth.
There's a ridge, isn't there?
There is a bit of a ridge.
There's
here
a ridge.
Chesterfield,
I have no idea what that means, but I've been told there's a ridge.
Right, if it hits it, it shoots up your nose, not a length.
Right the way across the square, so there's no escaping from it. Is Amir in again. Lyth this time plays and misses. Yeah, a little bit of extra bounce, and Lyth not flummoxed by it, but he certainly doesn't look massively comfortable, and he comes down and prods the pitch rather accusingly with his bat.
Yeah, that's always the case when a batter misses one, isn't it? It's walk down and look at the pitch suspiciously, give it a tap. Couldn't possibly have been me. Pitcher's done something.
Just hit something there, and I'll beat it out of the pitch with the end of my bat.
Yeah, I was just about to say I wouldn't mind seeing a second slip here, and they're just changing that now. There's good movement from Mohammad Amir away to the left-handers, a bit of extra bounce, and I think it's important now to try and attack when the conditions are in your favour, try and take wickets, get these guys out rather than sit back and be defensive against them. Let's try and get them out, and that's what they've done, putting another slip in.
Yeah, and Aaron Donald gone next to Wayne Madsen. Madsen at first, Donald at second, and Amir is in to bowl to Lyth, who leaves alone outside the off stump. That's a good first over from Mohammad Amir, going for just the 5 runs after 1 over, 5 without loss, and he went for 3 in his first over yesterday at Grace Road. I just wonder, and I don't, as a captain, I was thinking yesterday, keep him on for a third over, because he was certainly getting the ball to sing early, and it tends not to in overs, 17 and 19, which is what he bowled last night. And by that time, Ben Cox had got his eye in and was swinging from the hip. If you've got the opening bowlers in a spot to bowler, keep going with them, and as you predicted, Tomo.
Yeah, we've seen De Pablon bowl 3 overs up front in the power play as well to good effect. When someone's going well and taking wickets, I think having the likes of Pat Brown and Zach Chappell in the team, Pat Brown's going to bowl 2 of the last 3 overs. Zach will definitely bowl 1 of the last 4 as well. So it does give you that leeway up top to be able to, if Mohammad Amir gets it swinging, gets a couple of wickets, it does give you that leeway to give him another one. You don't have to save him to bowl 2 at the end. You can save him 1 at the end.
Thompson in to bowl.
Oh, no, it's
in the air, caught by Lewis Rees, and Milan has gone early, and Thompson strikes with the first delivery that he bowls here at Queen's Park in this T20 between Derbyshire and Yorkshire. He had a swing at it. He just eyed up the square boundary before that on the onside. Well, it came off an edge and out to Lewis Rees, who takes his 3rd catch of the season, and Yorkshire are 5 for 1.
Yeah, there's that spin and bounce and stick that we were talking about in the pre-match from Alex Thompson. He's bowled it into the pitch. It's stuck in the pitch. It's bounced. It's spun. And Milan's almost tried to pull out of that because of the bounce, and he's just ended up getting a thick edge out to backward point. He does not look happy, David Milan.
Well, in my experience of David Milan, he never looks happy. So
it's a fair comment.
He was miserable as last season in the championship match. In fact, twice he was complaining to stewards about how far away he had to park and how pokey the changing rooms were. And then he apologised the day after, and then he moaned again. So not too disappointed to see the back of him.
Yeah, he does struggle against Tomo. He got him out last year as well. And this is the perfect pitch for Tomo, especially against left-handers.
He's not a bad bunny to have, is he?
He's not a bad bunny, no.
Absolutely. Thompson and James Wharton is the new batter, and he just guides this one out for 4 runs to backward point. In off the boundary at the moment is Pat Brown, and it went past him, and that was that. The 2 men out to Lewis Rees at backward square leg, and I'm looking for Ross Whiteley. There he is by the ice cream van at mid-wicket, so they're the 2 men out. He's not right next to the ice cream van, it's in that vague direction. 9 for 1, Thompson's next delivery.
There's that extra bounce again from Tomo. You do get that here at Chesterfield, extra bounce, extra spin, like we said before. It's almost tennis bally, so it can make it really difficult to strike it.
It won't change that much over the course of 40 overs either, will it? So it's not as if Yorkshire won't get some benefit from. Has he got a bottom edge on that?
Inside edge, but he bowled him.
I thought he'd bowled him as well. It's been missed by Brooke Guest. Wharton is off the mark with a... No, he isn't, because he got a 4 off his first ball. He moves to 5. And a potential chance, a difficult one. Bottom edges and wicket keepers don't really go together. He did miss a stumping last night, and Ben Cox was put down on 10 as well before he went on to make 60 or whatever.
By who?
Alex Thompson, sadly, on the boundary. Thompson in and ball live. He plays it straight to Samit Patel, and Yorkshire have lost 2 wickets in the first. Alex Thompson over Mohammad Amir starts pointing towards the Yorkshire supporters behind him. Whether they've been giving him a bit of jip or not, I have absolutely no idea. But Samit takes the catch, and now Lyde's gone. He made 4, and Yorkshire are 10 for 2.
What a start from Alex Thompson. We said it will be Alex Thompson up top against the left-handers, and he's delivered on that. There's another one coming out for him now. Sean Masood comes out at 4 for Yorkshire. The 2 big boys that we spoke about in the pre-game, Adam Life and David Milan, both gone for Yorkshire. It's a brilliant start for Derbyshire.
Yeah, you said they were going to be dangerous. I distinctly remember you saying that.
I knew Tomo would come and get him out. Don't worry about that. That's why I said it.
Absolutely magnificent start for Derbyshire. Listen, for Alex Thompson in particular, the leading wicket taker in the county championship, of course, for Derbyshire so far this season in what has been a disappointing campaign. And he hasn't always been in the T20 side. He came back into it actually at Headingley because of the amount of left-handers. It didn't quite work. Mitch Wagstaff had been the preferred option with his leg spin. And I thought Mitch might have come back in last night, but they stuck with Alex Thompson. And Alex Thompson has paid them back.
Oh, he's got him again!
Stumped and he's out! First ball! Would you believe it? That is remarkable. Shan Masood took 2 steps down the track. Guest, quick as a flash, whips the bails off, and Shan Masood goes first ball. That's 2 first ball ducks for Yorkshire, who are now 10 for 3.
What a start from Alex Thompson. A bit of a strange decision from Sean Masood to see the ball spinning and bouncing in this first over as a left-hander to run down at him. If he only doesn't quite get there, he's going to miss it with the spin and the bounce. Very first ball, it's a strange decision. And Tomo has got 3 in the first over. What a start.
And you need to remind him when he comes on to bowl his next over that he's on a hat-trick. Absolutely.
He's on a hattie. Happening again at Queen's Park. It's happened last year.
It's bizarre, isn't it? It is bizarre. I don't know what it is with Yorkshire and Queen's Park. They do all right in the Championship, but in T20 cricket, they're like a bag of jellies.
Got a mental block in T20 at Queen's Park. I think, just going back to your point you made about Alex Thompson in and out of the T20 team, I think when there's a pitch that has a little bit in it for a spinner, he comes into his own, especially against the left-handers. With him being, he's 6'6", he's massive. He spins it as much as anybody I've ever played with. He puts a lot of action on the ball, so he gets more out of wickets that other bowlers won't. So that's why when there's a bit in the wicket, he tends to get more out of it and is really, really dangerous.
Mohammad Amir from the pavilion end bowls the first delivery of his second over to James Wharton, who turns it into the leg side, and there is no run. 10 for 3. We've had 13 deliveries.
I'd love to see Tomo's figures from this game last year if we can find them.
Yeah,
I'm sure he got Life and Milan out again.
I could get those for you very comfortably at some point. Just bear with caller, and I will get you those. I'm going to see if I can get them before Dom does. Mohammad Amir in again.
That's out.
Right in front of his goal. Mohammad Amir gets his first wicket for Derbyshire. And Yorkshire are in complete disarray here at Queen's Park. James Wharton, a century, his maiden first-class century in the match that ended on Tuesday here. Well, Mohammad Amir now strikes late before wicket. 10 for 4. We're only in the third over.
Unbelievable start from Derbyshire. Big in-swinger from Mohammad Amir. It's swung in. It's hit Wharton straight on the boot in front of all three. As soon as he hit him, we said that's out. Graham Lloyd had a good think about it, but he gave him in the end, and it's a fantastic start for Derbyshire.
Good strike rate though, Wharton. 5 from 5 balls. Well done to him. 10 for 4. This is lunacy. Absolute lunacy.
It happened last year. This is happened last year.
Yeah, they were skittled
We need to play here. Can we play here every week?
Well, you know what's interesting? We've had conversations with various members high up in the Derbyshire coaching staff, and they say they want to bring Notts here for a T20. How good would that be?
Bring everyone here.
That was, of course, while they were really struggling to beat Notts. But absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I've got no, I haven't got that game. That's this game.
Same ball again would be beautiful. First up, big in-swinging Yorker. Oh, come on, 10 for 5. Heard it here first.
Mohammad Amir on his way in to bowl, and that one is pushed out into the offside. They don't lose a wicket, which is why there's been a big cheer. It's Donovan Ferreira, the new batter out there for Yorkshire. And last season, Alex Thompson got 2 for 22 from 3 overs, and he got rid of Adam Lyth and David Milan. Well done, Woody. Well done, Woody. Excellent work,
Should have
George.
bowled the first over, Fletch.
Zach Chappell 3 for 16 from. They didn't bowl many overs. They were all out in 11.2 overs in 48 minutes. Amir is in. Ferreira gets one that's down the leg side, and it is signalled wide by Graham Lloyd. Good take by Brooke Guest behind the stumps, diving away to his left, and Mohammad Amir just kicks at the footmarks, which is what bowlers do. It's the batter. It's the equivalent of the batter.
Anytime they bowl a bad ball, it's kick the footmarks. There's something wrong with the footmarks.
Yeah, last year Derbyshire made 212 for 4 in this game. Haider Ali 59 off 41. They used to play 66 off 32 and 39 from Brooke Guest towards the end. As Amir is in again, bowls to Ferreira, gets a foolish delivery and drives it for 4. That's a nice shot. The Yorkshire fans enjoyed that one. They won't enjoy the scoreboard though, despite the fact that Ferreira's off the mark with that boundary there. 15 for 4, and we're only in the third over. Ben Mike came on and bowled the worst over I think I've seen in T20 cricket in that match. He ended up with 1 for 74 from 4 overs.
He had a tough day.
He did, yeah. Matty McKinnon a couple of wickets, 2 for 10. George Scrimshaw 2 for 8. And a wicket for Zaman Khan as well last season. Here is Amir in again. It's a bouncer, and that really takes off. That must have been close to a no ball, but it isn't called no ball, which is good to see. And it remains 15 for 4 with 1 ball of the third over left. Milan for 0 first ball. Adam Lyth for 4. Masood for 0 first ball. Stumped. And Wharton for 5. The men out already. So when your top scorer and your 4 down has made 5, you're going to be in a spotter bottle, and that's exactly what's happened to Yorkshire here as Mohammad Amir is in again, and that goes past the edge of Ferreira's bat and through to the wicket-keeper. What an over that was. 5 runs off each of the first first 3 overs, so it's 15 runs, 15 for 4 Yorkshire after just 3 overs. And Samit fancies a bit of this.
That's harsh to take Tomo off. He's on a hat-trick. He's got 3 wickets in 1 over and he's off. What more do you have to do, Fletch?
You just keep reminding me that he's on a hat-trick, because I will forget. I will forget.
Sammit's sniffing a few wickets here. He's getting himself on.
Yeah, he is. In fairness, we've got a right-hander, haven't we?
Two right-handers.
Two right-handers, yeah.
We're after a good test for our theory all tournament. What have we said about 3 wickets in the power play? We've got 4 now.
Falls even worse, clearly.
May as well go home, surely. Get him over.
Sammy comes into bowl to George Hill, who faces his first delivery and pushes it out into the offside. There is no run. If Yorkshire could get up to 20, it might be enough. You never know. You've got to take these days when you get them. Oh, that one has gone past the edge of George Hill's bat. The bails have been whipped off, but he hasn't, unlike Sham Masood, straight out of his crease. But 2-dot balls to begin the over. And we all know what happens when you get 3-dot balls, of course. It's the same as 3 wickets in there. I have no idea where these theories come from. Samit in again, and he goes for the reverse, and he hits it straight to Alex Thompson, who was originally at cover and ended up at mid-wicket due to the reverse from Hill. So Samit, 3-dot balls. And he's in again. Bowls. And that really does pop.
Bounce.
It popped on him, didn't it? That's remarkable. Came off the edge of the bat, out to Thompson. 4-dot balls. We've seen one maiden over already this season. It was bowled by Darren Pavilon. Can't remember who against. Was it against Notts?
It was at home, yeah.
It was at home, wasn't it? In comes Amir again. He's gone for the reverse once more, and he's missed. He's got a bottom edge on that, possibly. It was well fielded by Wayne Madsen, who turned out to be a short, fine leg, even though he's fielding at slip. 15 for 4, it remains. Another incredible over. Now the two batters are going to have a chat. They're trying to slow things down here. Samit's racing through this over, as he tends to do. So in response to the batters who are now ready, he decides to change his field a little bit, and he's taken Zach Chappell and put him in as an extra. When he's gone in at point, there's a backward point, a cover. This one is turned into the leg side from where the fielder had just come. It's a single off the final ball of the over. 1 run from it. 16 for 4 after 4 overs. And we're going to see Zach Chappell for the first time. So that they're not going to go. I'd have kept Mohammad Amir on, if I'm entirely honest with you, but I've never been a first class or a club, I mean, not an international, a professional captain. I've never been a captain of any sort in anything. It's a real shame. I think there's a lot of potential been missed there, Woody, if I'm entirely honest.
You have to get yourself a little boat. You can be captain of your own boat.
Yes.
Right, I think Zach will enjoy bowling on this wicket. He's another one. He's tall. He's 6'6". He'll get that extra bounce even more so out of this wicket. Hopefully the ball will still be swinging and taking it away from the right-hander as Wayne Madsen's in there at slip still. A bit of extra bounce from Zach.
Wayne will be enjoying being in at slip as well, won't he? He won't have to do too much running. He pulled off a brilliant run out last night.
I saw that actually.
It's George Hill on strike to the first delivery from Zach Chappell, and he just eases it out towards a wide third man. Excellent work from Ross Whiteley, keeps the ball in play, and then it's hurled back in by David Lloyd in the far distance. They go through for a couple of runs, 16 for 4, judging by the bugle. Yorkshire on the charge. I didn't like the duck incident. I'll say it again in case anybody at the club is listening, and it's just disrespectful. No quacking noises when batters leave the field. It's not big and it's not clever. 18 for 4. Zach Chappell's in again. That one is pushed up towards Mohammad Amir at a wideish mid-on, and he holds on to the ball. He threatens to throw it at the stumps, but Hill picks up another single. He moves to 4. Both batters on 4, in fact, and Ferreira, the wicket-keeper, back on strike. Just a buzz, just a hum around, just on the bank away to the left is absolutely chock-a-block. It is a fantastic sight, Chesterfield, when it's full, and it always is for the game against Yorkshire in the T20. Chappell in, bowls to Ferreira, who just pushes this out into the offside. There's no run available as it's fielded there by Aaron Donald. We have an interesting view, I always think. It's a great view because it's virtually uninterrupted, but we're out at ground level, which makes it slightly tricky.
Oh yeah, it is a little bit more difficult at ground level to see exactly what's happening and see the angles and
what I would
the
say is
doing
it's a lot more difficult, Woody. That's what you say, and then people are
just trying to be a bit more optimistic.
Absolutely amazed at what a good job we're doing. Here is Chappell in, bowls to Ferreira, who pushes it out into the offside, and Samit Patel, who He doesn't hide himself because he goes in at short extra cover or short mid-wicket generally when the fielding restrictions are on, picks it up on the bounce and tosses it to Lewis Rees. Back in the side, came back into the team last night. Good to see Lou back. Mainly due to Cam Fletcher's damaged groin, the groin that he damaged at Trent Bridge before the break. I was talking to him out on the pitch. He said he just had a little setback. Chappell is on his way in again. Freda goes straight up in the air. Is somebody going to get underneath this one? David Lloyd is, and David Lloyd can't take the catch. And it goes to ground, and they come back for a second. That was a little bit unfortunate. It was in the air for a long time. Zach Chappell will be furious. There's no question about that. And David Lloyd sort of went too far because he ended up having to go back for the ball after he'd got into position.
Yeah, he seemed to get himself in a little bit of a pickle there. They are difficult. He's at short third man, over his head, running back. Never really looked comfortable underneath it, did he? He was
when
always...
the ball's spinning like that, it can dip as well on you, can't it?
Yeah, he was never really got set, did he?
Ferreira waits and this time just pushes it out into the offside. Samet will pick it up. It's the end of the 5th over. Yorkshire having got 5 runs off that one as well. A 21 for 4. It could have been 5, but 21 for 4 is not bad. And a new bat is required by George Hill by the look of it. He's just swapping bats. He's got his hitting bat now. Unbelievable. How many bats have you got now?
Well, not many because I broke one yesterday.
Well, in the course.
I need a couple more if anyone's got.
I'd imagine that one has now been signed and put in the pavilion, has it? 222?
Not quite, no.
Come on.
Quite.
What are you doing, Tignall? Should be in the trophy cabinet, waiting for the
Well, I got 100 with one
tag.
and then it broke and then I had to swap it and got 100 with another one.
Samet is bowling. That one's in there. Oh, Zach Chappell with a one-handed catch a point with his left hand. That is absolutely remarkable. And George Hill's new bat has been used once, and that's that. 21 for 5. Hill goes for 4, and Samet joins the party.
What a catch from Zach Chappell. I thought he misjudged it. He ran in a little bit and then was backpedaling. He never looked comfortable. He just plucked his left hand up in the air and grabbed a hold of it. And to be fair, he almost looked a little bit shocked himself. What a catch from Zach Chappell, and Derbyshire on the charge. 21 for 5. Yorkshire are in disarray.
I'll say, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I haven't had this much fun for a long time watching Derbyshire. I've got to say, this is magnificent from Derbyshire. They still have to bat, of course.
Is this more fun than the Derbyshire against Scots?
That's a good shout.
You were excited then, weren't you?
I was quite excited, you're right. I was quite excited that night, yeah.
I pinched your line as well, that I remember you saying vividly, "Not so in disarray," with so much glee.
It's just great when Derbyshire come up against the big boys, and Yorkshire, yeah, they're in the same division as them, but they are still the big boys. Yorkshire, Lancashire, Nottinghamshire, Birmingham, Warwickshire. They're the 4 teams who should get to finals day year after year after year, but Northamptonshire have had their day in the sun, Leicestershire have had their day in the sun, Worcestershire have won it.
It's Derbyshire's turn.
Yeah,
Come on.
Durham have been to finals day a couple of times.
Play every game at Chesterfield, we'll be there.
I'll say, Samet Patel in and bowls. That strikes the pad, I think, of Matthew Revis, who is the new batter. I'm not sure he expected to be in the 6th over. There might be 1 or 2 scrabbling about in the changing room for protectors and thigh pads and pads. Where's my helmet? Somebody find my helmet, quick.
It's an interesting field. You don't see this very often in the 6th over of a T20. 2 slips.
Yeah, pushed up towards long off for a single, and Revis is off the mark.
2 slips and only 2 men on the leg side. Unbelievable.
He's a confident boy, isn't he, Samet? I don't think there's much doubt about that. He never has doubted his own ability as he bowls to Ferreira, who pushes it back towards him. 22 for 5. Yes, you heard right if you're just joining us. Started at 3 o'clock on BBC Radio Derby. And Samet is in once again. Ferreira pushes it straight back to him on the bounce.
Okay.
Everybody on the bounce, everybody calm down, calm down. Only a few bought that one, actually. It wasn't a huge roar, was it?
Yeah, you should have chucked it up. I reckon.
Yes,
He got a
if
few
he'd done
more.
that, yeah, he would have done. He would have done, no question about it. 22 for 5. Samet's in again, and this time he makes a bit of room for himself, and that's a nice shot from Ferreira out towards extra cover and across the boundary now. No chance for an Aaron Dole to get round to. He concedes a boundary off the final ball of the over, which is a bit of a shame. because it now means that 5 runs have come off overs 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6, with just a 1 run off Sammit's first over. They're 26 for 5 now, Yorkshire, at the end of the power play. I don't have a stat for 5 wickets down in the power play.
I do. Game over. Impossible. Start the car.
You heard it here first.
Alex Thompson.
Tomo's back this time from the pavilion end rather than the lake end where he picked up. And he's on a hat-trick.
Well, remember,
Thank you
Fletcher
very
is.
much indeed.
Get
Thank
the
you.
slips in, get the short leg in.
He's on a hat-trick, Alex Thompson. Let's not forget he'll be bowling to Matthew Revis as well, which is probably the batter we'd prefer to bowl to. He is a clean hitter of the ball, Revis, no question about it, but when you're coming in at 7, it means you're not necessarily one of the better batters, as Thompson is in on hat-trick ball and it's driven straight back to him, into the ground. Good stop by Tomo, diving away to his left. I've got to stop calling him Tomo as well.
Yeah, he does feel well off his own bowling. Call him Grizz instead. He's so big, they call him a grizzly bear.
He is a big man. He's on his way in, bowls, and Revis just pushes. He has nicked it down towards third man. David Lloyd is giving chase. It's going down the hill, and Lloyd will not catch it as it hits the rope just as Lloyd arrives. And that's a bit of a shame for Alex Thompson. 30 for 5 now, Yorkshire, and we're in the 7th over. Power play done and dusted, so there are more, well, I was going to say there are more fielders outside the circle. There are more fielders outside the circle. It doesn't feel like it. Yorkshire feel really hemmed in here to me. And every run they score is being cheered by the visiting supporters as that one goes past the edge of Revis's bat. Was he playing for a turn that wasn't there?
Looks like it, yeah. It's just slid on the angle straight across him. It makes it even harder for batters when one spins and the next one skids straight on. You don't know what's happening. It's horrible.
Thompson in again. Revis
that
goes
one
back.
spun and bounced.
It did. It bounced too much in the end because he made room for himself by stepping into the leg side. If it had just kept, I don't know, 6 inches lower, it would have nicked off one of the bails straight over the top of the
Well,
stumps.
it's that difficulty. The last one skidded straight. That one turns and bounces.
And this one is a fuller delivery and it's turned into the leg side by Revis. Good over this again from Alex Thompson. We're very close now to Nyron Donald, which will get Jack Timon very excited. He's no more than 10, 12 yards away from us, fielding it long on. And Revis picks up a single off the final ball of the over, possibly. Yeah, final ball of the over. And it's 31 for 5. And guess how many runs came off that over?
5.
Yep. 6 separate overs have gone for 5 runs, and 1 has gone for 1. We've had 7 overs. Yorkshire are 31 for 5. And I'm not afraid any longer to talk about Derbyshire's magnificent run against Yorkshire here at Chesterfield, which is 6 wins on the spin. 144 runs last season. Remarkable. It was a remarkable game as well. It ended in the pouring rain from memory.
That's got to be Derbyshire's best ever power play, surely. Can't imagine they've got 5 wickets for less runs.
Griff's not here at the moment, so I've no idea.
Yeah, it's a Griff stat, that.
Yeah, it is. Revis turns.
Tweet him.
Well, he's not. He might know, I suppose. Yeah, Dom's going to have a word in his ear. He's taking pictures away to our right-hand side. Single taken off the first ball, bowled by Samit Patel. So Revis moves on to 7. Ferreira has 10. Partnership worth a heady 11 runs. Samit bowls. That one goes past Ferreira's bat. He's trying to flick it away into the leg side.
Spun past him.
And Brooke Guest takes it again. Remarkable. On this kind of form, you wouldn't back against Derbyshire doing anything as Ferreira picks up a single out towards Ross Whiteley in the deep. And Yorkshire move on to 33 for 5. I'm not sure whether Griff keeps that kind of stat, so we might have sent Dom on a fruitless mission, but he's on his way back now. We'll find out perhaps at the end of this over. In comes Samit again and bowls to Revis, who turns that one into the leg side. In off the boundary comes
Ross
Whiteley again. Sometimes I have a brain freeze. I knew it was Ross. He's always there.
He is always there, yeah. Straight in the hot spot.
Yeah, 34 for 5 with that rocket arm of his. Samit's in again. Ferreira goes back, and again he turns it into the leg side. No, not David Lloyd.
It is.
Is it David Lloyd out there? He hasn't been fielding it long on all the time. It's an Aaron Donald who always fields straight.
And Irons at long off.
Took a good catch last night as well. 35 for 2 as
Speak of the devil.
There it is. Revis pushes it up to him in the far distance, and they go through for another single. So at the end of that over, Yorkshire they're not 36, are they? They are 36 for 5, which means off that over, 5 runs. I'm going to bring Don in now. Were we able to? Oh, hang on. There we go. Did he have an answer?
The only one he could think of was this time last year.
Right. Okay.
Whether that was better. So we might need some googling.
No, I've got that one up. So we're all right. Thank you, Don. Good work.
Thank you, Griff.
Don Alex Thompson begins a new over from the pavilion end, bowling to Revis, who pushes it straight back to him. It's the number of overs that have gone for 5 runs that I'm
it's probably a world record.
I would think so. Griff will be onto that, no doubt, later on today. Thompson bowls a little bit flatter. It comes off the edge and goes away from David Lloyd and down to the third man boundary for 4. That is disappointing for Alex Thompson. The Yorkshire Powerplay last year, they were 29 for 5.
So this is better.
So this is marginal. It's
3 runs better.
Yeah, 3 runs better, but that's well done, buddy.
Not just a pretty face, Fletch.
Well, I knew you were here for a reason. Here's Thompson in a bowls. The reverse comes out from Revis, and it goes straight to David Lloyd, who's fielding at backward point rather than short third man. So a dot ball, 40 for 5. And we're only in the 9th over. Thompson in again. That one again is a little bit flatter. He tries to pull it, but he does pull it into the leg side. He doesn't make a really good connection. It sounded fairly unpleasant. And Wayne Madsen, who is in there, does the fielding, and now where's he going now? He's going out
backward
to point. Yeah.
Last ball. How many runs?
I don't want to say 4, I think.
Oh, he's missed it.
And it keeps low as well. That one didn't bounce at all. Wow, good stop by Brooke Guest, because he will have been expecting bounce, because there's been plenty of bounce. It's the 2 different ends, of course. 40 for 5 it remains. Single off the last ball will be impressive, and he's not got it. No, he couldn't get hold of it at all. Alex Thompson breaks the sequence rather disappointingly. Just 4 runs off that over. 40 for 5 after 9. Alex Thompson's figures 3 overs, 3 for 14. Samit Patel, who looks like he's going to bowl out here, has got bowled 3 overs, 1 for 11.
First look at Pat Brown.
Yes. That's remarkable not to have to see Pat Brown until over number 10, isn't it? That's an awful lot of overs of Pat Brown left in up the sleeve, isn't it? Wow.
Certainly is.
That's good news for Derbyshire. Just bring the former England international.
3 more from Chapel as well. 3?
Yes, he's only bowled the 1 over. Bowled 1 over
3
for
from Chappie.
1 over for 5, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah. 2 more from Amir, 4 from Brown, 3 from Chapel.
The smile.
Look at him, he's just telling all the members about his catch. Did you see it? Did you see it?
Yeah, it was a left-hand, you know. I don't think he's usually use that, apart from the change gear in my very expensive car. I don't know what kind of car he's got, but I'm sure it's expensive. Has he?
He's got a Tesla.
He's one of those Tesla people, is he?
Automatic, yeah.
He wants shooting for
Fancy pants. He likes his cars, does Zach.
Is Pat Brown bowling to Donovan Ferreira, who pushes that one out into the offside, and there's no run. Just shrugs his shoulders as Woody says, left-handed catch, what's going on? Yeah, just it's what I do, really. So Zach Chappell just in front of us at third man.
Tell you what Zach also likes, he's a big fan of cryptocurrency, Zach.
Is he?
Big fan of cryptocurrency. Ask him about it next time you interview him.
As Brown is in, that one is pushed into the offside by Ferreira for a single. In off the boundary comes Alex Thompson, and they move on to 41 for 5. Is he the country music fan as well?
Not that I'm aware of, not Zach, no.
I'm sure I've heard, because he currently has a lodger, and it is of course an Aaron Donald. So an Aaron's been spilling the beans on their domestic arrangements.
He has got a darts board in his room though. In his living room, sorry.
I've got one in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's not that unusual.
Inspired by Luke Littler.
Oh dear. That one bounces and it's pushed out
Wayne
into the
Madsen
offside.
run out again.
No. Pushed out into the offside, and Donovan Ferreira is almost back to the pavilion. He was running that fast to make his ground there. Wayne Madsen did pull off a terrific one stump to aim at run out last night. Brilliant work. If only I'd spotted it was him straight away, the commentary would be equally good. I thought it was Mitch Wagstaff, who was on as a 12th man at the time. A slightly more youthful fielder, as Pat Brown bowls one a little bit short, and that's been battered away into the offside. Alex Thompson has got his hand to it on the slide, but can do no more than push it into the rope as the rope goes around the boundary in front of the trees away to our right. A little bit unfortunate there, Alex Thompson, but 46 for 5. Halfway down the track doesn't appear to be the best way to do it. For me, anyway. I don't know if you agree or not. I'm not bothered if you agree or not, really.
It's very rare to see Alex Thompson out on the boundary. He's normally in the ring somewhere.
Yeah, certainly
well, he's gone again for you, Fletch.
I know, and
he's just testing that theory. He's been smacked again.
I don't think it's a good line, a good length to bowl. And with the clouds coming over, get this innings finished off nice and quickly. I mean, we've got a lot of time, of course, but it's just gone a little bit gloomy out there. I wouldn't want to be facing Pat Brown when it was gloomy. There's a game just down the road at Trent Bridge. Nottinghamshire are taking on the Birmingham Bears. Notts have been bowled out for 57 in 17.2 overs. Gosh. Perhaps they're in the middle. Here comes Brown again. That one's down the leg side, and that's wide. And this is not... we're saying how good it was to keep Pat Brown back. Well, he hasn't covered himself in glory, I'm afraid, in this over. So far, there's plenty of time, of course.
Seems to be persistent with that short ball, Fletch, and I think on a wicket like this where there's plenty on offer, I don't think there's really much need for it. Just run in and bowl your best ball, hit the top of the off stump, and there's plenty in this wicket that you don't need to mix it up too much.
Mitch Wagstaff's just come down the pavilion steps. I'm going to put one on in a minute with a message. In comes Pat Brown. That's slightly better,
short again.
But it's been hit away out towards Thompson at backward point. They're only going to get a single on this occasion, but the 50 came up for Yorkshire with the second of the boundaries in that over, and at the end of that one, 12 runs from it there, 52 for 5 at the halfway stage. Worcestershire 137 for 3 in the 17th over against Lancashire. Worcestershire bottom of the table, of course, that one being played at Old Trafford, where Lancashire are almost unbeatable, and Durham, who aren't very good traditionally at T20 cricket, are 91 for 7 against Northamptonshire, just down the road, a bit further down the road from Trent Bridge. That's being played at Wantage Road. There are games in the south, but quite frankly,
no one cares.
No one cares. Well, you're absolutely right. That's
well and truly ruined the single runs per over rate as well, that last one.
First ball of the new over from Alex Thompson's hit for 4 as well, so Yorkshire just starting to fight back a bit. I mean, they're a long way behind the 8 ball, of course they are, with 5 wickets down. They'll be looking initially to get to 100 and then 120, that kind of area, which oughtn't to challenge Derbyshire, but you never know. Thompson in. This one's been launched for 6. That's an enormous hit by Ferreira. That's gone over the VIP tent away to our right. Nuno's halfway to Clay Cross. That was a huge hit. He moves to 32. He's faced just 20 deliveries for his 32 as well. He'll be going back in the changing room later and saying, lads,
what were you messing about?
I have no idea what you thought was in the pitch, but blimey, you've made a real meal of this. The 62 for 5 now. I'm not getting worried yet, though, Woody. I shouldn't be worried yet, should I?
Not just yet.
No, okay, I'll stay calm.
He did hit a clean ball though, Ferreira.
Didn't he? That was a very impressive hit. Thompson's response B. He's already picked up 3 wickets. He's now 3 for 24. As he's in and bowls and beats him. I thought that was going to bounce onto his stumps off the bottom edge, actually.
There's that extra bounce and spin from Thompson.
Ferreira taps the pitch, goes on a little walk down the track, gives it a tap, and he's just going to try and hold Alex Thompson up here. He's ready now. Thompson in and bowls. That one is pulled into the leg side. It actually beats Wayne Madsen, and they're going to get 1. They're going to come back for the second. Pat Brown was trying to throw it in, and he lost his left leg. He just slipped a little bit, and as a result, they get back for 2 comfortably. 64 for 5. 34 to Donovan Ferreira now. Again, he just takes his time, which is, of course, the right thing to do as a batter. Thompson bowls Tripman. He smashes that into the ground. Samit Patel stops it.
Dom thought it was a catch. It was a crowd catch. Fell for it.
Caught Dom out there. I thought it had gone for 4, actually. I didn't realise that Sam had
taken with it. Is it that odd?
Thompson in again, and that one is pushed straight back to him by Ferreira. So he got out of the over reasonably well after going for 10 off the first 2 overs.
3 for 26.
3 for 26 isn't bad, is it? It's Samit Patel-like figures for Alex Thompson. Terrific effort from him, and at the end of the over, 64 for 5 Yorkshire, with another 12 runs coming on off that over. So 24 off the last 2 overs. Mitch Wagstaff's coming on as the 12th man. Who's he replacing or has
Mohammad
replaced?
Amir. He's coming off.
Change of bowling.
Oh no, I think he's changed his mind. Lewis Rees for the first time, who bowled 1 over I think last night, Lou. Bowled 3 overs in total in the competition this year. Yeah, Mitch Wagstaff has now left the field. I think he was waved away by Mohammad Amir in the end. Mohammad Amir's concerned that he might not be allowed to bowl if he comes off perhaps. Rees in and bowls, and that was turned into the leg side by Revis, fielded it short, fine leg by Zach Chappell, who's pulled off a sensation. As good a catch as you're likely to see with his left hand at point. The ball looked like it had got away from him completely to dismiss George Hill for 4. And comes Rees again, hiding the ball behind his right hand, right hand, of course it is. That one is pushed into the offside, and again it's a dot ball. 64 for 5 it remains. Keep looking at the sky.
Let's check the radar, shall we?
Yeah, if it's bad, don't tell me.
Should be all right.
Yeah, I think so. The odd shower might hit, but I don't think there's anything terminal. And again, Rees and Revis pushes it straight back to him, and he fields it slightly unconventionally with his right foot. Mohammad Amir warming up and stretching out in front of us at short third man. Wayne Manson at backward point. And Aaron Donald in the far, far, far distance at long off. Samit Patel in at extra cover, of course. And here comes Lewis Rees once again. Bowls, and this one is lifted down the ground out towards extra cover. It bounces once, it's patted back in by Aaron Donald.
It's Alex Thompson, I think.
Is it? Oh, it is Alex
it's gone for
Thompson, you're
4 as
absolutely
well.
right, but it has gone for 4. He tried to pat it back in and succeeded only in patting it over the rope in the far distance. So Aaron Donald must be the fielder at long on. Where's David Lloyd gone?
Deep square leg.
Is he? Oh yes, there he is. And of course Ross Whiteley somewhere out at cow corner, I'm sure, but I can't see him.
Yeah, deep mid wicket, just in line with the old ice cream van.
Oh yes, Rees bowls. It's pushed out into the offside, and it's fielded by Pat Brown. Throws it in on the bounce. 69 for 5. This one could do with being a dot ball, just to get us back to the sanity of 5 run overs. 8 to go after this one. Yorkshire 69 for 5. Rees is in, and that is pushed by Ferreira for the single. So 70 for 5 at the end of the over. 6 runs from that one. Still a pretty good over from Lewis Rees. It might not have conceded the boundary had the pat back from Alex Thompson in the far distance paid off. Mohammad Amir wanted some kind of energy gel, which has now been given by Darren Dupavalon. Harry Kane comes off with the helmet, and here's Zach Chappell back from the pavilion end. 1 over bowled so far for 5 runs. That was over number 5 as Yorkshire lost 5 wickets in the power play, and have been rebuilding ever since, really. Ferreira is on strike. And Aaron Donald, that's horrible, isn't it, going from long on to long on.
He's getting his steps in today, isn't he? No, he's getting his steps in. Doesn't do much running when he's batting, does he? So
no, he doesn't. Chatter bangs one in short, and it's pulled into the leg side out towards the mid-wicket boundary for 4 by Ferreira. He moves to 39. It's a good job for Yorkshire. He's playing. They're on 74 for 5 now.
I'm still not sure in this short ball tactic that Derbyshire seamers seem to have employed recently. Pat Brown was persistent with it and got hit for boundaries, and Zach started off with another short one. It's been smacked for 4. It seems to be the easiest ball to score from so far. There's so much in the wicket, just hit the top of the stumps.
Here's Chappell once again. He's in and bowls. That one is straight back to him, off on the bounce.
Another crowd. Don was ready to go again. He thought it was a catch.
He's an excitable youngster, you see.
I'm like a dog over here, just chasing everything.
74 for 5. Chappell back to the top of his mark. One of about 30 metres, I would guess, judging by where he's starting from, on the edge of the circle. And he's on his way in again now to bowl to Ferreira, who lifts that into the leg side. And Aaron Donald goes around. It is well fielded. And they're going to come back for 2, but he saved a couple of runs there. He was on the tumble, diving away to his right-hand side. Now Donald. Good afternoon to Andrew and Jocelyn. I think it's Jocelyn. Anyway, I'm sure it is. His mum and dad will be watching on the stream or listening in. They might be here, who knows? I haven't seen them though. They were here for the 4-day game. There's Chappell, he's in and bowls, and that one is thumped down the ground. And what a stop by Lewis Rees. That was for all money, going for 4. It'll be all right when he gets back to his feet and actually collects the ball. They've gone through for 2, but again, 2 runs saved. And Samit Patel quite correctly comes across to Lewis Rees and gives him a low 5. Big smile on Lewis's face as well. That was a terrific piece of fielding. 78 for 5.
Another short one ago in the
match. Don't bowl short, for goodness sake. Derbyshire did this in the 4-day game. Yorkshire bowl at the top of off, and Derbyshire just banged it in all over the show. Here is Chappell. That one's a much fuller delivery, and it's driven down the ground, and Aaron Donald gets across. The ball bouncing across this Chesterfield outfield. A good stop again, because that one could have reared up and he'd have lost a couple of teeth. At the very worst, the very best, he could have broken those very spectacular sunglasses that he's wearing in the gloom here.
I was wondering if that was going to come out.
79 for...
Recently just taken mine off as well.
79 for 5, quite right
mine
too.
Not quite as fancy as an iron.
No, they're not.
That's another short ball.
That's a better short ball. Although, had he connected with the uppercut, it would have gone for a boundary. 79 for 5 at the end of
good song, Fletch.
13. Is it the Killers? Is it? Is it? Yeah, thank you. Come on, Puddy, give me something here.
I just know the song. I'm terrible with that.
Oh, well, you can't put...
I know the song. I can sing it to you if you like.
No, don't do that. We went through the entire game last night myself and Marie. I was saying, who sings this? Who sings this? And by the end of it, she was ready to punch me. But she might have been ready to punch me anyway.
She's not coming back then.
She's with us at Worcester on a Thursday evening at 5 o'clock or 4:30 or whatever ridiculous time they start down there at New Road, because there's no lights. Lewis Rees, who conceded just 6 runs off his first over, is back for a second from the Lake End, and initially will be bowling to
catch it.
And he's
got him.
Caught at backward point. Lewis Rees picks up a wicket. Good safe catch by Wayne Madsen at backward point, and the main danger man has gone. 44 he made Donovan Ferreira off 32 deliveries. He goes, and Yorkshire is 79 for 6 now. He just said there hadn't been a wicket. It was getting boring. And Derbyshire, well, no, because that's not a thing. But it's exactly what they needed, really. And Jordan Thompson's coming in now, who can hit the ball. He's getting plenty of information from Ferreira as well. But you'd much rather be bowling at a fresh batter than Ferreira at this stage, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Ferreira was the only real batsman who looked comfortable so far today. 44 off 32. Everyone else has either struggled to score or just got out very quickly. He was the danger man. If he would have stayed in and took Yorkshire into the late teens, 20 overs, he could have took them up to a competitive score at least. So he's a big wicket to get him out and get these young lads in under pressure again.
Might is Lewis Rees's first wicket of the season. It's only bowled 5 overs now. He bowled 2 against Northamptonshire and he bowled another one. I shouldn't have started that sentence before looking it up. He bowled Lancashire. I know, I've not filled in yesterday. I've not been home.
Well, as soon as you've been here since 8 a.m, I thought you must have had plenty of time to do that.
Computer, stop it. Here's Rees bowling to the left-handed Thompson. I could have filled it in by hand. Yes, you're absolutely right. Thompson's off the mark straight away, 80 for 6.
What do you do since 8 o'clock?
Oh, you'd be surprised how much we can tough when you wouldn't, because you've heard us.
Yeah, that's true.
Me and Griff get together. It's difficult to get a word in edgeways, really.
I've noticed.
He'd be beaming, David Griffin. He doesn't show it on the outside, but inside,
Jumping with joy.
he certainly will.
Derbyshire through and through.
Absolutely. 80 for 6 as the next delivery by Rees to Revis is pushed straight back to the Derbyshire left armour, and there is no run. So there hadn't been a wicket since the 6th over, but because they've got 5 by then, apart from Ferreira, who did pretty well, to be fair, 44 off 32 with 6 fours and a 6.
A big 6 as well.
It was probably worth more than 6, wasn't it? That one has been played off the back foot, out into the offside. Pat Brown is around quickly, tries to pick it up one-handed, and then he's sent back as Jordan Thompson by Revis. That probably would have got back for 2 there, because he just bobbled it. He tried, put pressure on the batters, really, trying to pick it up one-handed, which on an outfield that isn't pristine, it's decent.
Very difficult here.
It is difficult, isn't it?
Very difficult.
It's difficult. It's difficult at the county ground as well. So Pat Brown's almost lost his teeth on a couple of occasions at Derby. He didn't want to lose them here at Chesterfield. 81 for 6 as Rees is in. Bowls to Jordan Thompson. It's one of those floaty, slower deliveries full of length, and it's pushed out into the onside. They are going to come back for the second now. The throw comes in from Donald, but they get back comfortably enough for the second run. He moves on to 383 for 6 now. Yorkshire, who are wearing light blue this year with a sort of Viking type affair on the front of the shirt. We are the Yorkshire Vikings after all. Derbyshire sticking with their dark blue with the pale blue falcon, stylised falcon. Thompson will pick up another single here as he pushes it out into the offside. It goes past Samit Patel all the way to Ross Whiteley. It's the end of a successful over for Lewis Rees. And guess how many runs came off that over, Woody?
Can't be, surely. 5.
5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 of the overs have gone for 5 runs. That's remarkable. If you're bowling 8 overs, you only get facing 8 overs, you're only getting 40 runs. Wayne Matson. Well.
Off spinner to the left-hander. Did see him warming up in the warm-up before the game.
He loves it. Wayne Matson's only bowled once. That was against Birmingham, 0 for 30 from 3 overs.
He might enjoy bowling on this wicket.
They weren't particularly good against Birmingham at home. Here he is then around the wicket, bowls to Thompson, who pushes this rather uncertainly into the offside, fielded by Thompson at point, and there's no run. He has picked up wickets, he was telling us. He's in before Graham Lloyd's even standing in position, that he stops, turns around and pats umpire Lloyd on the back, knowing that he started too soon. He's in again and bowls. That one is pushed off the back foot to Alex Thompson at point, and there's no run. And the other thing that Wayne Madsen can do, this over could last 60 seconds.
He gets through him very quickly. It's awful as a batter when someone bowls it that quickly.
That one's on leg stump and turned into the leg side by Thompson, out towards Ross Whiteley for a single. Thompson moves to 5, 85 for 6. Now Derbyshire, well, we'll talk about it at half-time. I don't want to start bringing that into the conversation yet. We'll have nothing to talk about at half-time. It will be fascinating to see how they go about the reply, though. He bowls. Oh, that's
6.
been launched for 6. That is a big hit by Revis. Oh, somebody has tried to catch it whilst sitting on the floor and failed dismally. He's dropped his beer as well, or his can, or whatever he's got with him there. 6 runs to Revis, who moves to 26. 91 for 6 now. Be interesting to see the cheers for the Yorkshire century if they actually get there. This one is clipped into the leg side by Revis. Wayne thought he was going to get that under the bat there because of the he always thinks he's going to get a wicket, doesn't he? And they pick up another single. 92 for 6. Revis on to 27. The final ball of the over potentially. This one is launched back towards us. That is 6 more. It's going over us. I've no idea where it landed, but it's gone a long way. And 2 6s off the over. I think that might be Wayne Madsen's day with the ball done, because Yorkshire have moved on with a 14-run over to 98 for 6 after 15. So 5 to go. They'll still be confident, you would have thought, getting 130, 135.
Yorkshire?
Yeah?
Yeah, surely. These two, you can still practice out.
Yeah.
Jordan Thompson's a dangerous player, he strikes it well. Something always seems to happen. Took a bit of a gamble with that Wayne Madsen over. Didn't quite go to plan.
Summit is bowling to Rubbish, who gave himself an awful lot of room in the leg side. Picks up a single. Mohammad Amir doing star jumps. 99 for 6.
Must be coming next.
Yeah.
He's got 2 left.
He's got,
right?
yeah, he bowled 17 and 19
yeah.
last night as well. Went for a few.
You've got Chappell and Brown to bowl the others, I'd imagine.
Well, Chappell has bowled. He's only bowled 2, so.
Brown bowled 1.
That one has gone past the edge. There's a big appeal for a caught behind, but umpire Kettlebury is not interested. Thompson survives. Cheers and jeers in almost equal measure from the crowd. Mohammad Amir is now warming up with his hands in his pockets. Remarkable. Samit is in again.
Straight
and
from the Caribbean, he must be a bit cold in Chesterfield.
I know, but he lives in this country now, so he must be.
Does he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's based in, I think his wife is British. Mohammad Amir. As Samit's in again, and Thompson finally lays bat on ball in the over and pushes it out to the leg side. Picked up nicely by Pat Brown out there in the distance and keeps them down to a single. Excellent piece of fielding. Here's the applause for the Yorkshire 100, which comes up in the 16th over. Muted, I would suggest. They will be on edge, the Yorkshire supporters, as Samit is in. And Revis again giving himself some room, just sort of punches it down the ground, down towards Alex Thompson in the far distance there. 101 for 6. This is Samit Patel's final over, and my estimation of how many runs he would consider woefully under par as Thompson turns the final ball of the over into the leg side. Pat Brown comes in off the boundary to do the fielding. 102 for 6, 1 for 14 off 4 overs.
4 off the over?
Yep.
It's open for 5.
A disappointing 4. We have had one over that went for 1 and one other over that went for 4. We've had only 3 double-figure overs, which I always think is a good sign if you're bowling. It's not a good sign if you're batting, clearly. And here comes Mohammad Amir, just what Yorkshire were hoping to see. I'm sure the ball probably won't swing now, will it? I wouldn't have thought. In over number 17, it oughtn't to swing.
Definitely not. Especially with the wetness on the outfield as well. Won't be any reverse swing either.
Donald persisting with the shades. Just to our... Right, that was a zip, by the way. Here is Mohammad Amir in and bowls to Jordan Thompson, who pushes this one out into the outside. Not mine, zip. Oh, and he's furious with Samit because they've picked up a single. I did see an over that he bowled in a super over. It might have been against the USA, the game that Pakistan lost. He bowled the super over and spent the entirety of the super over berating the fielders.
It wasn't his best super over either, was it?
No, it wasn't. But the over before that got them to the tie was absolutely magnificent. So the best and worst of Mohammad Amir seen in successive overs, which you don't see very often. 103 for 6. Revis on strike. Goes for the edge. Oh, that would have been a sensational catch had it been held onto by Brooke Guest. It would have been in between first and second slip if either of those two had been there. And he flung himself to his right, got his right hand to it. He's a bit angry with himself, but he shouldn't be. And he did stop runs, certainly, potentially 4 of them, because third man is up on the edge of the circle. Zach Chappell, he wouldn't have got anywhere near it. It isn't Zach Chappell either, because he's at short fine leg. Here comes Mohammad Amir again, bowls, and this one has been slapped out towards the cover boundary where Whiteley does the fielding. Revis moves to 30, 104 for 6. Who is that short? Is it Tomo again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why do I keep... I've got a mental block about Alex Thompson. I never recognise him as himself. He's always somebody else.
He's the tallest man out there, him and Zach.
Yeah.
They don't look too dissimilar, I suppose, from distance.
That's very kind of him. Yeah, he's the man of many faces, man of mystery. Here is Mohammad Amir bowling to Jordan Thompson. A short delivery, bang there, and it's pulled around to square leg, where Ross Whiteley does the fielding again. Just a single, 105 for 6. Thompson moves to 15 off 13 deliveries. Revis has got 30 off 32. Both have hit a 6, remarkably. Thompson yet to get a boundary 4, though. We saw an all-run 4 in the championship game. I do like an all-run 4, yeah.
It's a good effort, that.
Absolutely. Here is Amir in, balls through. That one's been launched out towards the boundary, and the catch is taken comfortably by Wayne Madsen. A backward square leg. Mohammad Amir gets his second wicket. Yorkshire lose their seventh. They're 105 for 7. Revis goes for 30.
It's a good wicket for Derbyshire, that. Revis put up a good bit of resistance there. 30 runs from 33 balls. He would have been hoping to be able to kick on in the last 3 or 4 overs here for Yorkshire and take them up as close to 140 as possible. He looks set, so it's a good wicket for Derbyshire to get a new batsman in. Mohammad Amir picking it up.
His second, as I say, his second wicket, 2 for 13. His figures from 2 overs and 5 balls. Not bad. He's enjoying a very fine home debut. He's calling an Aaron Donald towards him. He's got a plan here. He's got a plan. Take those specs off, for goodness sake now, will you? And Aaron Donald, I've said it before, he seems to be the de facto vice-captain, really. So we just called him up for a bit of advice, but Samit Patel's in conversation with Lewis Rees, asking him if he wants to bowl another over, I think, and Lewis has said, I'm all right, thanks. I've done all right. I'm not bothered. That partnership was worth 26 off 23 deliveries, so a good one to break up. The new batter is Don Bess. And he's ready now as Mohammad Amir runs away from us and bowls to him, and that one is turned nicely into the leg side. They run the first one really quickly, picked up nicely by Zach Chappell, who throws it in because it's not Alex Thompson, and the over comes to an end. 106 for 7, 4 runs off the over and the wicket. They're sort of going nowhere quite slowly, Yorkshire, aren't they? Really, it oughtn't to be enough. It oughtn't to be enough. Zach Chappell is back from the lake end.
Yeah, those few wickets getting Pereira and Revis out, the 2 set batsmen have put the brakes on a little bit for Yorkshire. Derbyshire can hopefully finish this well, last 3 overs, keep them as low as possible.
Durham crawled all the way to 140 in the end against Northamptonshire at Wantage Road. There at the innings break there. Worcestershire 181 for 4 they made in 20 overs against Lancashire at Old Trafford. And Birmingham are already 24 for 1 in pursuit of 58 to beat Notts at Trent Bridge. Here's Zach Chappell on his way into bowl to Bess, who has launched that for 6 out beyond square leg. That is huge.
It's a big one. It's another short ball again.
Don't bowl short balls. What are they doing? I don't really understand it, but hey ho, 112 for 7.
I'd imagine the theory will be something along the lines of, because of the uneven bounce and tennis ball nature, let's slam it into the pitch and try and extract it out, but just doesn't seem to be paying off at the minute, so they need to be adaptable and change plan.
Well, he pitched this one up, Chappell. The answer is yes, and it goes past the slower ball as well, goes past the edge of the bat. I'm starting to spot them, Woody. I'm starting to spot them. It's all your work, this, you know. I had no idea what was going on a cricket field until I worked alongside you.
I'm sure that's not true, Fletch.
Spotting slower balls. I was all right with the slow ball, actually, mainly because the batsman's usually played his shot about 5 minutes before the ball arrives. 112 for 7. He's in again and bowls, and that's a swing and a miss from Don Bess.
Another slower ball, Fletch.
Was it? I didn't spot that one. I didn't spot that one. I just thought it was a proper old-fashioned lower order batsman swing and a miss.
Smack.
It went underneath his bat in the end. There wasn't quite enough pace on it to get it to go over the top of his bat with that big swing that he had. 112 for 7 it remains. Back-to-back dot balls halfway through the 18th over. He bowls. That one's a little bit shorter. It's gone straight up in the air. Who's going to get underneath this one? Lewis Rees is going to get underneath this one, and Lewis Rees takes the catch. Really good catch. That one was up in the air for a long, long time, and Lewis Rees picks up another catch. It was his second. He managed to get rid of David Milan early on as well. It's 112 for 8 now. Yorkshire. Don Bess goes for 7 off 5.
Yeah, that's a great catch from Lewis Rees. It's gone a long, long, long way up into the sky, up into the clouds, and I think everyone sort of looked at each other and was wondering who was going to catch it, and Rees ended up going for it. He was the closest to it, and it's a good catch. They're never easy there when they go straight up like that. They swirl around. It's a good catch and a good wicket for Derbyshire. Don Bess has already launched one into the crowd who's going again, but just got the top edge on it. It's a good wicket for Chappell.
In fairness, he tried every single delivery that Jack Chappell bowled to launch into the crowd.
did, yeah.
He missed 2 slower balls and then sent that one high into the sky, and everybody in the outfield was relieved that Lewis Rees took charge of that one, and it's important that you do take charge in that situation, and it was a very good catch from Rees. The new batter is Dan Moriarty.
He'll be difficult to face in the power play, I'd imagine. He'll open the bowling, I think,
He
of the
will.
right-handers.
And he cuts that one away out past the dive of David Lloyd. Good bit of work there by Ross Wiley. Throws the ball in now. There's a little bit of confusion, and he threw it straight at David Lloyd in the end, who's taken it while he's still lying on the floor. I've no idea what happened there.
I think Ross went to throw it. As he threw it, he slipped over, so it was a little bit not his best throw.
If
It went
David Lloyd
straight at
hadn't-
David Lloyd.
If he hadn't already been taken out by the dive, he would have been taken out by the ball on its way back. 114 for 8. Jack Chappell. Final ball of another successful over. Oh, that's off an edge. Moriarty picks up 4. Jack Chappell doesn't even bother having a word with him. 114 for 8 at the end of 18 overs. 8 runs off that one, so it would have been another 4-run over had that nick not gone all the way to the boundary down to a very fine third man. Is that right? If you look at the cricket level, he had 6, didn't he? So
It's 118.
come on, buddy, you need to keep me in line better than that. 118 for 8 at the end of the over. Things happen too quickly in T20 cricket for old men like me. Mohammad Amir to bowl out now. He's got 2 for 14 from 3 overs. And he's in and bowls to Thompson. That one doesn't get up at all. And
Oh, he's turned him down.
yeah, Thompson
Wow.
turns down the opportunity of a single. So if he doesn't score at least a boundary off one of the next 2 balls, that is an appalling decision.
That is the arrogance of the man.
Well,
2 overs left.
if anybody who's watching the stream and normally listens to Jonathan Dodge, they will all know that Jordan Thompson is the man who makes things happen.
Refers to himself as the big show as well.
Does he? And he's clubbed
Takes
that
the
down
one
the
now.
ground and
What's
now
the point
takes
in
the
that?
one. Yeah, absolutely pointless. It sounded like he had a cracked bat as well, that delivery. 119 for 8. That is a bizarre decision to not take the single off the first ball but take it off the second. But there we go. I'm sure he has a plan. I'm not sure what that plan is. And again, Mohammad Amir and Aaron Donald in conversation. They're doing what professional footballers do there and covering their mouths as if somebody's watching.
It's for all the hundreds of cameras that are here watching them.
Nobody's watching. 119 for 8. Mohammad Amir is in and bowls a full-length delivery. Moriarty does well to dig that one out, didn't he? Yeah, did very well to dig that one out. And he actually gestures that it swung.
Got a bit of reverse swing, maybe.
Yeah.
Not sure it'd be.
He's blowing on the ball. Look, he's probably blowing on his fingers, but the ball is in his right hand and he's blowing on it.
Trying to get it dry, I think. Keep it dry, get it reverse swinging.
Goes in again to bowl to Moriarty, who again gets a full-length delivery, digs that one out up towards long on. Lewis Rees comes in off the boundary to do the fielding. 120 for 8. 7 to 16 rather to Jordan Thompson. No, it isn't. It must be. It must be. That scoreboard's wrong. It's got the dot by the wrong batter, isn't it? Thompson has 16. Moriarty has 7. In goes Amir. Bowls to Thompson. Short delivery. Heaved away towards the boundary. David Lloyd's running round, but it goes over him, and it's away for 6 into the covers. The sheeting away to our left-hand side. That's another decent blow. 126 for 8 now. 22 to Jordan Thompson. Short ball.
Another one, yep. Short ball's gone the distance again.
And Aaron Donald is making a mental note. Short balls go the distance. He certainly won't die wondering when he gets a bat in the not too distant future. Amir is in again, and that was a slower delivery, and it's pushed out nicely into the offside for a single. 1 or 2 claps you can hear in the background. They'll be from the Yorkshire contingent who are in the pavilion just away to our left-hand side. 127 for 8, as you just heard there. 2 for 23 from his 4 overs. Mohammad Amir, a good day's work for the Pakistan international. 9 runs off his final over. And Pat Brown, whose solitary over so far has gone for 12, will bowl the final over of the Yorkshire innings. Let's hope he doesn't slam it in halfway down the track. As he's bowling initially, it's Jordan Thompson, so the men out on the boundary will be on high alert. Zach Chappell and Wayne Madsen out on the square boundary leg side towards the scoreboard here at Chesterfield, away to our right-hand side. But just looking at the cut-off time, I think Richard Kettlebury's just had a little look at his watch. I think they're okay. I can't count the number of people inside the ring. Yeah. Brown in there, bowls to Thompson.
It's kept a bit low as well.
A bit. It might have come off the toe of his bat. That might have helped it stay low. Yeah. And it just scuttled along the
Slower
ground.
ball from Pat Brown that just kept a little bit low and Q-ended Jordan Thompson's bat.
He inspects it. It's okay. 127 for 8.
Spinner's field really with fine leg and third man up. Be pace off and Yorkers, I'd imagine.
Brown balls, full delivery, and Reese takes another catch as Jordan Thompson goes for the big heave into the leg side. It comes off the outside edge of his bat, and Lewis Reese with a 3rd catch in the innings. A wicket, a first in the match for Pat Brown. Yorkshire 127 for 9.
Yeah, Jordan Thompson going for the big heave-ho. It was another slower ball from Pat Brown, and it must have just bounced a little bit more than he expected. And it's looped off the edge to Lewis Reese for what was a simple catch. And Jordan Thompson does not look happy. He stood there for a long time, staring at the wicket, shaking his head. It's the same wicket for both teams, Jordan.
There's Ben Cliff. You're a cruel man. You're a cruel man.
I was learning it all from you, Fletch.
Pat Brown with another wicket. That's his 16th of the season in the T20 Blast. Heading towards, well, still with 4 games to go after this one, he's heading towards record territory, I think 23, 24. That might not have been updated yet.
Chapo got it last year, didn't he? Zaman with 24, 25, something like that.
They were records as well.
25, I think it
Brown
was.
is into the new batter. It doesn't look like he wants anything to do with it. He smashed it straight into the stumps at the non-striker's end.
It's hit Brown's foot, that has.
Oh, was it? I thought I saw a bail fly there. Did I not see a bail fly? No, I didn't.
You're seeing things, Fletch, your eyes.
I think it was a bit of mud coming off his shoe, actually, now I think about it.
Dom shaking his head.
Yeah. Come on, don't hang me out to dry. Single was taken, incidentally, 128 for 9, so Cliff is off the mark. 3 balls to go in the innings. Brown in to bowl to Moriarty, who slapped that into the leg side, straight to Zach Chappell, who almost takes him over the boundary with it. And they only pick up a single. You probably thought he might have got 4 for that.
A few splatterings of...
Is there?
A few sprinklings of rain, I'm afraid, to report.
We'll be all right. Yeah, I was trying to wait. I thought it was a spider. 129 for 4. Universal sign for rain. Here is Brown in bowls.
It's hitting.
It's the batter there, Ben Cliff. He goes through for... He must have hit it as well. It's not been signalled anything.
Might have gloved it or something.
He moved to 130 for 9.
Gut.
This looks like the final ball of the over and the final ball of the innings to me. It's only when you come to a ground like Chesterfield that you realise how much you miss those big scoreboards with all the information on them.
It is. I was thinking that earlier.
Yeah.
It's making our job a bit harder.
It's an absolute nightmare. So, Moriarty on strike. Pat Brown on his way in from the lake end. Final ball of the Yorkshire innings. He bowls it. It's short.
Oh,
it's
he's
low.
thrown his bat as well. He's thrown it.
There might be a run out. No, there won't be a run out. The bat's gone to square leg. The ball went to Buck Guest, and the over comes to an end at 130 for 9. So Derbyshire, with 3 overs off the last over, will require 131 for a 7th successive win against Yorkshire here at Queen's Park. Quick word for Dan Moriarty, who made 8 at the end from 7 deliveries, and for Ben Cliff, who made 2 of 2. Derbyshire completely dominant throughout that innings, and I'm sure that's what Dom will be discussing with Woody and myself. But 3 wickets for Alex Thompson, a couple for Mohammad Amir, and 1 each for Samit Patel, Zach Chappell, Pat Brown and Lewis Rees, and a spectacular power play. 26 for 5 at the end of 6 overs, Yorkshire. They eventually made 130 for 9, and it means that Derbyshire in 10 minutes or so time will require 131 to win.
What an innings from Derbyshire there. Incredible stuff. Yorkshire in disarray was the shout at the start, Tom Wood, and they very much were. It seemed like Derbyshire absolutely stunned them.
Yeah, they did. It was an electric start, really, from Derbyshire, with 3 wickets in that second over from Alex Thompson, getting the 3 big guns out in David Milan, Adam Life and Sean Masood all in 1 over, and then to go on and take 26 for 5 in the first 6 overs in the power play really was phenomenal start. To be fair, I thought Yorkshire fought back pretty well from there. It's obviously a difficult place to come back from 26 for 5. But they fought their way up to 130. It's given them something to bowl at on a wicket. There is plenty in it for the bowlers, so they'll be hoping to come out and try and take a couple of early wickets and get the pressure on.
Whilst the start was exceptional, you touched on it there, did they quite take advantage of how well they started when you look at the total that Yorkshire go in with?
I think realistically, people think once a team's 26 for 5, everybody just expects that that's going to continue and you're going to bowl someone out for 40. That very, very rarely happens in professional cricket, in T20 cricket. There's always going to be a little bit of a partnership somewhere. But I do think they allowed Yorkshire to get probably 20 more than they should have done. There's a few big overs which could have been prevented, but they'd have took 130 at the start of the game, that is for sure. It's by no means a par score. There is a bit in the wicket, but I think if Derbyshire play sensibly and positively and manage the risk, they should be able to get this one over the line.
Yeah, how do they approach this? Because they'll want to go out there and send a message, I guess, and get a good start. But if they just stick in there over the 20 overs, you'd expect them to be able to reach that total pretty comfortably.
You would expect that, yeah. I think, having seen how an Aaron Donald plays, I think he'll play the same way as he always does. I'd like to see him give himself a little bit more time than normal on a pitch where there is plenty in it, a bit of spin, a bit of bounce, a little bit too paced, tennis bally. It might take a little bit longer to get used to that and strike it, especially against a new ball. Only chasing 130, you can afford to give yourself that little bit more time to get in. And also it looked like throughout that first innings that once the ball got a little bit older and the outfield is a little bit damp still and it doesn't do as much, once the ball gets softer and
who has won the British Grand Prix in just over a minute's time. He's your T20 Blast commentary team, Tom Wood and Dave Fletcher.
Thank you, Dom. I'm looking forward to the final result.
You can do corner by corner if you want.
We were doing the penalty kicks last night, in between balls being bowled at Grace Road as England got through to the semi-finals of the Euros. And it's going to be Dom Bess who will bowl the first over from the pavilion end.
What do you think of that hairstyle, Fletch?
Awful. Awful. It's as bad as Ben Cox's at Leicestershire. Have you seen his? Well, it's the same. They've got hold of a bottle of something
Bleach.
and basically poured it over his head. I mean, I'm in no real position to comment, as you know, but it's not something I would have ever contemplated as a young man when I did indeed have hair. Have we got there yet, Dom?
Now keep going.
Okay, here's Dom Bess then. He's going to be bowling to... and Aaron Donald's going to face the first delivery. This is interesting. Lewis Reed's faced up short.
I think it's because it's off spinner to right-hander.
Okay.
If it was Moriarty bowling the first one, I think Reese would have took it.
Right. So here it is. Bess is in and he's scooped around the corners and appeal for leg before wicket. You don't get many leg before wickets when the ball comes off the middle of the bat.
Interesting shot first ball with a 45, right?
I'm not sure. It scares me. I just had a message of somebody saying, well, let's hope for some Donald fireworks. I don't want to see Donald. I mean, yes, I do want to see Donald fireworks. I just want to see them get over the line.
Yeah,
that's the most important
fireworks on this wicket, especially in the power play, will be very, very, very difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Best then to the left-handed Reese. Around the wicket he comes, and Reese just chops that into the ground and go through for another single. That's good running, because it went straight to the fielder. And they scamper through for a single. Looks like those cars are slowing down to me. Dom, what's the result?
Lewis Hamilton wins British Grand Prix for a record-extending 9th time, with Max Verstappen second and Lando Norris third. There you go, Tom Wood. Wow.
Back to the studio. This one's been launched into the leg side for 4. One bounce and into the crowd by an Aaron Donald.
I think that's answered Dom's question. He was asking before the start of this second innings how Derbyshire are going to approach it, and Aaron's going to play exactly how he normally plays. Take the attack to Yorkshire with a slog sweep over mid-wicket for 4 in the first over.
I think it makes sense, doesn't it? That's what he's been brought in to do. He waits now.
And again.
Yeah, there he goes. He's gone round the corner this time, backward of square. One bounce and into the crowd again. And Dom Bess is saying, no, you move over there, you move over there. Of course, he hasn't got much to play with, just 2 players outside the 30-yard circle. And at the moment, there are 3 out there, so one's got to come in. It's the man that on the 45 has come in as well as long on, and he's got a man out on the square leg boundary and a mid-wicket boundary. So I'm sure, and Aaron Donald has made a mental note of that. 10 without loss, and he's gone for the scoop, and I'm not sure if he's touched that. If he has, it's been put down by the wicket-keeper Ferreira. There was no major angst, was there, out there? So, well, no, this is a key wicket for Yorkshire if they're to win this game. They're only chasing 131 after a pretty impressive spell of bowling, especially in the power play from Derbyshire, as Bess bowls a full toss. He's going to be caught. No, he's not.
No,
he's been put down.
Absolute shambles of that.
One-handed attempt by Shan Masood when he could have gone with both hands and taken it fairly comfortably. And Donald survives. He's on 9 not out, 10 not out at the end of the over. And Derbyshire are 11 without loss.
Full toss from Dom Bess. And then Aaron Donald's tried to get it over mid-off. He's not quite hit it as well as he normally would. Sean Masood looked like he's made a bit of a hash of it, to be honest. He must have misjudged it or lost it somehow. He ended up jumping with one hand when he could have easily took it with 2 hands without having to jump. But Donald's got a life there, and Derbyshire 11 for none after the first over.
Ben Cliff, I think, going to bowl the first over from the lake end. Shan Masood having one of his better games for Derbyshire in T20 cricket. With the first broad look and now a dropped catch, he's having a shocker. He's such a nice bloke. He's one of the nicest blokes you could ever wish to meet, Shan Masood. 11 without loss, though, Derbyshire after 1 over, chasing 131 to win. And Aaron Donald already had a let-off dropped by Shan Masood. as Cliff is on his way in, and Donald just flicks that nicely back with a square on the leg side. They've run one, they're not going to come back. Oh, they are going to come back for the second on a misfield. Yeah, that's
big cheers for the Queen's Park crowd.
Fairly ordinary from George Hill out there in the deep. If you're going to have two fielders outside the circle, you want your better fielders out there, don't you?
Do. I remember there was a costly misfield a few years ago out on that side.
Was you right? Was that in the Matt Critchley over? Were you here for that one? Oh, there's the Formula One just finishing. Here comes Cliff into bowl to Donald. There was a swing and a miss. Yeah, hasn't he just? That would have
that extra bounce as well for the new ball.
Could have gone anywhere. 13 without loss it remains.
I think it was Matthew Waite out on that boundary. I think it was more recently than the Critchley one.
That was about 17, wasn't it? 17, 18,
it was
something
more
like that.
recently than that.
I remember there was.
I think it was the Lewis one. You know when Lewis smashed the load at the end?
Yeah.
It was that over, I think.
That would be 2 years ago, possibly. Here comes Cliff again. 13 without loss, Derbyshire. 12 of them to an Aaron Donald, who again
the extra bounce again.
Goes for the big shot once more and hits him high up on his body.
Yeah, it makes it so difficult to be able to strike the ball cleanly when it just, that extra tennis ball bounce from Cliff on this wicket. It seems to be more with the new ball. While the ball's hard and new, you'll get more of that uneven bounce. It makes it really difficult to be able to strike it. So I think if Iron can just get through this power play, get through the new ball, it'll be a bit easier to bat on.
He's waiting now as Cliff comes in to bowl to him, and that one is turned nicely into the leg side in front of square. There is two here, or there are two here. Hill gets around the boundary to do the fielding, loses his cap in the process. Two more to Donald, who moves to 14 off 9. 15 without loss, Derbyshire. That target 131 after that terrific bowling, really. 3 wickets for Alex Thompson, 3 for 26 from 4 overs. Mohammad Amir, 2 for 23, a wicket each for Lewis Rees, Zach Chappell, Samit Patel and Pat Brown. And some pretty impressive fielding too, as Cliff is in, and that one's skied down towards us. One bounce and into the press tent away to our right hand side. Yorkshire had a few boundaries that came that way, it has to be said. 18 to an Aaron Donald, end of the over, 8 from it, 19 without loss, Derbyshire. You take them all though, don't you? Oh, that's not, no, it wasn't the end of the over, I know what I'm talking about. There's one more ball to go. Gave it the big build up the end of the over, and there's one more to go, beg your pardon. It was the music that fooled me.
Yeah, you take them any way they come, especially on a wicket like this, chasing a small total. You swing hard, it might go over the slips like that for 4.
And comes Cliff again, strikes him on the pad a bit too high probably. When he'd eventually picked the ball up, Adam Lyth got all excited and raised his arms as well, because he's got a perfect view like we have at slip. That is the end of the over. There were 8 runs from it, and it is 19 without loss after 2. Matthew Revis appears to have removed his cap, and will be coming on as Woody gets all excited about Dancing Queen. Nodding his head along with Amber. That's outrageous. I'm not sure. It is clearly classic because it's old, but I'm sure this was late 70s, something like that, way before you were even born. Good grief.
It's one that's always on at the discos, isn't it?
Is it?
Anytime there's a wedding or a party or something, it's always on.
I tend not to be invited to weddings and parties, you might be surprised to hear.
I wonder why.
Here is Matthew Revison bowling to Lewis Rees, who's only faced one delivery so far, and he drives that down the ground for 4. Beautiful. That was as straight could be. It only just missed the stumps of the non-strikers end, but a beautiful shot from Lewis Rees, who moves to 5. 23 without loss, and they could have this not sewn up, but they could have broken the back of this target of 131 fairly sharply. Did Don go through the scores at half-time? Did he? I'm not sure. He's got his different headphones on there. Yes, well, I went, but there was such a big queue, I decided against it. I'm regretting that now, of course. Birmingham Bears beat Nottinghamshire by 9 wickets with 88 balls to spare, which is quite the thrashing. 5.2 overs to get to 61 for 1. Northamptonshire 53 for 1 in reply to Durham's 140. And Lancashire 65 for 4 against Worcestershire. I'll come back to that as Revis is in and bowls to Rees. He was launched that out towards a straight mid-wicket cow corner area for 6. It's hit the rope. I thought it was going to die and land inside the boundary, but it hit the rope on the full, and that is it's a big hit out there. I know we're fairly central, and it was in the air for a long, long time. Lewis Reese got 10 runs off the first couple of balls of the over. Jimmy Neesham's in the ground somewhere signaling 4. If you don't know what we're talking about, check out the 6 that wasn't a 6 from last night's match. Samit Patel. Absolutely, that was a great hit. 29 without loss now. The Worcestershire made 181 for 4. Lancashire need 117 off 79 balls. They're 65 for 4. Here, Derbyshire, 29 without loss in the third over. Rebish bowls, strikes the pad, big appeal. They're trying to turn that one into the leg side, Lewis Reese. It'll be a leg bye, so Derbyshire will move on to 30. I think they'll be appealing for everything because they are desperate for wickets here, Yorkshire. By the end of the third over, they were 27 for 1. By the end of the power play, well, they were out of sight, weren't they? They weren't 27 for 1 at all. That's nonsense. That's the night before. At the end of the third over, they were 15 for 4.
Disarray.
Absolutely in disarray. No question about it. And Aaron Donald, who's got 18 off 11. Revis is in to bowl to him. He steps into the leg side. Oh, he's clothed it over the top of Don Bessie, went with his left hand, and it runs away for 4 runs, and he's got away with another one there at Aaron Donald. He moves to 22. Derbyshire up to 34 without loss. He didn't get hold of that one at all.
No, he didn't. Like you said, he clothed it, but he just got enough of it to get it over Don Bess. He jumped up with one hand, and he got a bit of a hand to it, but never enough to be able to catch it. So Derbyshire obviously answered Don's question very emphatically. They're coming out all guns blazing, trying to get as many as they can, as quick as they can in this power play.
Revis is in. That one's a launch. It's up in the air. Don Bess is underneath this one and takes the catch. Having not taken the catch the previous delivery, he takes it this time. And Aaron Donald's cameo really is over at 22 of 13 deliveries. He's got Derbyshire off to a decent enough start, though. They're 34 for 1 in the third.
Yeah, and Aaron went again on that shot straight down the ground over mid-on, but he didn't quite get it at all. It's gone straight up and a simple catch for best. They're the shots on this sort of a wicket where it's uneven, tennis bally. It's hard to be able to stand still and strike it down the ground as soon as you get that uneven bounce, and that's just what's caused an Aaron's undoing there.
That wicket goes down to Henry Marsden, who was just telling me that Don Bess went, that Matthew Revis went for 24 runs in an over in his previous match. Now he's picked up a wicket the next delivery. Just keep it to yourself, Henry.
Jinxed him.
Yeah. There is no such thing as a jinx, though, so as we all know, 34 for 1. Derbyshire, as David Lloyd will be the next man in. Has been opening the batting this season in the T20, or for a large part of it. Back down at 3 now, where I prefer him, I have to say. Still a right and left-handed partnership out there with Lewis Reese not out. 11 off 4 deliveries. Revis on his way in to bowl to Lloyd, who just guides that one. He guides that one out to the point boundary for 4. Well, I barely thought he barely seemed to touch it, did he?
Yeah. It almost looked like a defensive shot, but he just leant on it. He timed it perfectly through cover point for 4. It's wasted. What a start for David Lloyd.
And the most expensive over of the match so far. 19 runs come off it. 38 for 1 after 3. They're chasing 131 to win, which means that they need 93 more runs to win. I did that with a little bit of help from the computer, I have to say.
So that was impressive, Fletcher.
That kind of maths is way beyond me. Looks like Ben Cliff's going to continue. Is he from the Lake End? I think it's him. He's running towards us anyway, bowling to Lewis Reese, who has a swing and a miss at that one. The ball goes through to Donovan Ferreira. Where is it? Yes, it is Ben Cliff continuing. That's good news for me. Bowling his second over. His first went for 8. 38 for 1, Derbyshire. That target 131 to complete a 7th successive win over Yorkshire here at Chesterfield. It is a truly remarkable record. Cliff is in. Reese missed that one for 6. Wow, backward square leg, very close to the very small ice cream van. It was dropped in the crowd. The crowd there is about 5 deep. That's about it. And somebody's wringing his hand out because he just got his fingertips to it. Big shot from Reese. 44 for 1 now. Reese moves on to 17 off 6.
Yeah, that's an outstanding shot from Lewis Reese. He's almost just picked it up off his hip, swiveled on it and dispatched it over backward square leg. He is strong in that deep square region. He's just swiveled on it and helped it on its way. Phenomenal shot.
Here comes Cliff again, bowls, and that one is guided by Reese this time, and it's gone past the man at short, third man Moriarty. They're coming back for the second and get back comfortably. That's really good running. It was George Hill who got around to do the fielding in the end. Reese moves to 19 now, 46 for 1 already. Remarkable performance once again from Derbyshire here at Queen's Park. The Duckworth Lewis par score is on the scoreboard, but of course there are people in front of the scoreboard and we can't see it. Take my word for it, they're a long way in front. Here comes Cliff and bowls, and that one is crashed into the offside. That's a really good piece of fielding by Jordan Thompson, who is a very fine cricketer. Diving and tumbling away to his right on the edge of the circle at cover. I can smell Bovril.
I can smell something. It smells absolutely phenomenal.
It smells like a Sunday roast, doesn't it, almost? What do you reckon?
No, I reckon it's...
That is nice. Everybody can smell it now. It's worked its way all the way down there.
Chips and gravy or
absolutely
something.
Definitely gravy.
Me hungry,
definitely gravy involved.
Fish and chips with gravy.
Here comes Cliff. Oh, that's gone off. And it's down. 1 bounce, down to third man for 4 runs. And 50 on the board for the Falcons. There we go.
Doing our job for us.
50 for 1. He'll never take over from us, Woody. Don't worry about that. It took Yorkshire until the 10th over to get to 50. Derbyshire got there in the 4th. So that's an indication of how far ahead they are of Yorkshire in this match. 1 ball to go in the 4th over. 50 for 1. It has been a remarkable start in the same way that it was with the ball. Here is Cliff to bowl his final ball of the over, and Reese has smashed him down the ground. No, he hasn't. It's gone up in the air. Shan Massoud's underneath it and takes the catch. And Lewis Reese perishes. You look by the sword, etc. He goes for 23 off just 10 deliveries, Lewis Reese. And Derbyshire are 50 for 2 now in 4 overs.
Yeah, the Derbyshire boys are obviously in a hurry. They've got plans tonight, trying to get this 130 as quick as possible. And I think part of that thinking will be with the North group being so tight on points in the table that if they can get this job done quickly and get that net run rate up, it might put them in good stead come the back end of this tournament.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Somebody said that to me at half-time. Actually, I was having a chat with 1 or 2 people, and get this done quickly. And if you get to 14 points and it comes down to net run rate, it gives you a massive advantage, doesn't it? They already had a better net run rate than Yorkshire, same number of points. So Dan Moriarty, for the first time, he's coming on.
Yeah, 2 right-handers in now. It's a perfect matchup for him. Spinning the ball away. It'll be a tricky one in this power play with it spinning and bouncing for the 2 right-handers.
3 double-figure overs. You know, I'm obsessed by this kind of thing, as you know. The first double-figure over for Yorkshire came in the 10th over when they got to 50. So that's how far ahead Derbyshire are. David Lloyd will be on strike. Wayne Madsen, you might have heard in the background, is the new batter. Had a good innings, good knock last night as well. Wayne Madsen caught on the boundary for 46 off 35 deliveries with 7 fours last night. David Lloyd is ready. Dan Moriarty runs in, then stops and then starts again and bowls to him, and it's just turned into the leg side. But 50 for 2 is already a very good power play. So they can almost see off Moriarty in this over, can't they, really, without, if that's the way they choose to go. I'm not entirely sure it will be. Lloyd sweeps 4 runs. Straight past the man on the edge of the circle at sort of backward square leg, really, isn't he? Ben Cliff there, and David Lloyd not quite only dealing in boundaries, but not far off. He's got 8 off 4 deliveries now. Those runs he scored, certainly only dealing in boundaries. 54 for 2 now. It means they require a further 77 runs. Lloyd waits, turns that one into the leg side. They go through for a single. Sensible cricket has broken out at Queen's Park. 55 for 2. You'd love to see it. I mean, even if they're winning 10 overs, I'm not suggesting that they will, but if they're winning 10 overs, the net run rate would rocket, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how it's worked out, but there we go. Madson's off the mark. First delivery he faces, just turns that one into the leg side. So 56 for 2. They need 75. I'll tell you how many balls that is, but I can't do that kind of maths. It's virtually a run of ball, isn't it, from here on in? As Moriarty bowls, swept, and this time it goes straight to Ben Cliff, fielding on the edge of the circle. I might try and do it when the over finishes. Probably fall flat on my face, of course. It's Moriarty around the wicket, bowls to Lloyd, who sweeps hard at one bounce, 4 runs. Revis couldn't get around the boundary to try to prevent it from going into the crowd. A third boundary for David Lloyd, and the over comes to an end. 10 off it, 60 for 2. Derbyshire, which effectively means they need 71 runs to win from 15 overs.
How many balls is that, French?
That's a lot of balls. 60, isn't it? Is it?
15 overs.
I don't know. No, it isn't. It's more. 90. 90. Is it 90?
It is.
Thank you, yeah. So 75 off 90.
Walk in the park.
Can't lose from here, can they?
Impossible. Like I said before, start the car. Get me back on that M1.
That's 50 mile an hour all the way down, though, and that's terrible. That.
Killed you.
Yeah, I don't usually...
Tell you what did kill you, it was a nightmare getting here, actually.
With the road shut, no.
It took me about 45 minutes through the last 2 miles.
Should have got here early, like me.
I was still in bed when you got here, Fletch.
I think most people were, because there was nobody on the roads. I sailed through that diversion, then went round the roundabout at the bottom there twice because I missed the turn off, but I'd have been here even earlier. Who's going to bowl now?
Is it Cliff again?
I think it is Cliff again, you know.
4 in a row.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's unusual. He's going to bowl the final over
They're going to change the ball. They're not happy with it.
I'm not surprised. It's probably been beaten out of shape. 60 runs from the first 5 overs. That's approximately 12 and over, I believe.
I wonder where you got that from.
Well, it is on the computer, but even I could work that out. Even I could work that one out with it. Even me. Let's have a quick look while we're changing this ball to see how things are progressing. Lancashire are in a spot. Well, no. They're 102 for 4 in the 12th over against Worcestershire at New Road. They need 80 from 51 balls. And Northamptonshire are now 78 for 3. They need 63 from 48. You will already have heard, no doubt, but it's worth repeating. Birmingham beat Nottinghamshire by 9 wickets with 88 balls to spare. Here is Cliff on his way in from the lake end, bowling to Wayne Madsen, who drives it straight back to him. Nice bit of fielding off his own bowling there by Cliff, and there is no run, so it remains 60 for 2. You could have carried on there for a minute. I'd have covered for you there, would it?
I know you've always got my back, Fletch.
Lewis Hamilton's won the Grand Prix, apparently. For those keeping track. See what I did there?
I do. Very good.
Thank you very much. Scoreboard's going to be difficult to see if this sun stays out. As Cliff is in again, bowls to Mountain, who pushes this up towards Shan Masood at mid-off. He misses the stumps with the throw. And Wayne Madsen picks up his second run, 61 for 2. Lloyd with 13 to his name. He's only faced 6 deliveries so far, so healthy strike rate. Clearly in excess of 200, 216.67 to be exact. He waits now as Cliff is in and bowls, and that one is at the toe end of the bat out into the offside. He looks at his bat as well.
Just to make sure it's not broke.
Yeah. It's one of those where you end up with the handle and the splice in your hand and the
rest of the bat.
The rest of the bat sort of at 90 degrees or flied away. We have seen a flying bat already today. That was very exciting. It went out towards square leg. The ball didn't go anywhere. In comes Cliff once more. 61 for 2, Derbyshire. It's pulled violently into the leg side for 4. by David Lloyd, who's now moves on to 17, 65 for 2, 17 including 4 fours. These are the kind of innings we were expecting and hoping to see from David Lloyd. He's done pretty well this season, to be fair, in T20 cricket. He's got a 41, he's got 41 twice actually in a half century as well, so he's done his bit for the
Put some
Derbyshire
good partnerships
cause.
on with an iron as well when he was flying.
Absolutely.
Got us off to a good start.
Yeah, as Cliffy's in and bowls to him again. This is a full delivery, and it's been flicked away this time out towards a straightish mid-wicket.
He's
Coming
got it.
back for 2. He didn't really get all of it, did he? Sort of looped a little bit. And then he picks up 2 more. 67 now for 2. 19 to Lloyd. Oh, he's pointing at the umpire. He's asking the umpire how many balls are left. I think that's what he was doing. I think it's 1. I didn't say David Lloyd's just counting players inside the circle, as all square leg umpires should, as Cliff is in and bowls, and he goes for the big shot into the leg side.
Trying to sweep him.
And this comes off his leg, and it's a leg bye signalled by the umpire. 8 runs off that over. 68 for 2 at the end of the power play. It's worth repeating, at the end of the power play, Yorkshire were 26 for 5. So that's how far ahead Derbyshire are here at Queen's Park. And Jordan Thompson, the man who makes things happen, is going to have to make an awful lot happen if he's to turn this way of Yorkshire. If anybody can, I suppose he can, but it's asking quite a lot of Jordan Thompson to try to get Yorkshire back into this game, let alone win it. Just a couple of practice bowls to Shan Masood, his skipper. He's sorted his own field out, accompanied by some indeterminate modern music.
1 kiss.
Was it? That's very kind of you, but I think we ought to finish the commentary first, would he? Here goes Thompson bowling to David Lloyd, who gets one down the leg side. I'm not sure what it's hit. It hasn't hit anything. I think. I tell you what, that might have been close. Wayne Madsen went for a run on top of the wide. They get through in time, but it was good work by Ferreira, who whipped off a glove, turned, picked it up and threw it at the stumps. It wasn't far off. 2 more to the total. 1 more to Lloyd, who moves to 19, and Derbyshire are 70 for 2 now, needing just 61 more runs at less than 4.5 and over. In goes Thompson again, bowls to Madsen, who just turns that into the leg side on this occasion. In like a flash is James Wharton, picks the ball up at mid-wicket, and there is no run. Just a gentle breeze blowing across from left to right as we look out here at Queen's Park. That rain has stayed away, thankfully, and we've already had 5 overs. In fact, we're in the 7th now, so we have a match. Thompson in and bowls to Madsen, who flicks this away in front of square, a long way in front of square. My word, that's gone away for 4, and again he barely touched it, and it has raced away. Revis no chance from square leg to get round. Madsen's first boundary, he has 6. Derbyshire 74 for 2, and they're hurtling to victory.
Yeah, it's a lovely bit of time in that from Wayne. His leg's done par volley, but he's clipped it away for a mid-wicket, and he's managed to beat the man out at deep square easily for 4.
Thompson in again. This time Madsen plays it backward of square, down towards long leg. He picks up another single, 75 for 2. Madsen moves on to 7. It brings Lloyd, who's got 19 from 10, back on to strike. No need. Well, the crowd,
I'd love to see you give us an AO there, Fletch.
the crowd aren't exactly, well, it's not happening. The crowd aren't exactly in a frenzy, are they? But
It's almost too easy, isn't it?
Well,
there's
yes.
no sort of...
there's no jeopardy.
No, there's no
At the
pressure,
moment.
there's no excitement. It's
Flicked
just-
away down to fine leg for 4 by David Lloyd. Thompson falls over at the end of his follow-through as well and slowly gets back to his feet. Another boundary for Lloyd, his 5th. He moves to 23, and it's 79 for 2 now. Remarkable.
It's almost too easy. The crowd just expect to happen now, and there's no tension in it, is there? It's not tight. It's not even close. It's not even close.
I'm even happy for you to say that. That's how little tension there is in the game. There is Jordan Thompson once again. Lloyd just defends that out into the offside, immediately says no to Manson.
Yeah, I think if it was a boxing match, Fletch, they'd have thrown the towel in by now.
Yeah. I've got some towels somewhere if they want to throw it in.
Start waving that white flag.
Yes, the Yorkshire supporters are very, very quiet for some reason. Jordan Thompson.
Are they still here?
Well, it still looks packed, doesn't it? So I imagine they are. Perhaps that's why it's as quiet as it is. Thompson into bowl to low. 6 runs.
Shot that is.
Out towards square leg, over the head of Matthew Revis. Thompson goes the distance. Lloyd moves to 29, and at the end of the over, 85 for 2 Derbyshire. 17 runs off the Jordan Thompson over. We've got a 19-run over as well. Yorkshire, well, the bowlers are in disarray too, aren't they, really? As much as the batters were. So we're going to see Montgomery. He doesn't play for Montgomery plays for Notts. Yeah, wrong one.
It's a phenomenal shot, that, from David Lloyd. It wasn't a bad ball, to be fair to Jordan Thompson. It's just back of a length and straight, and Lloyd's just picked it up off his hip over deep square for 6. He's timed it beautifully.
I said at the start that the pitch wouldn't change much, and it won't change much over the course of 40 overs. I don't think it has changed, but Yorkshire haven't got the raw pace that Derbyshire have got for a start, have they, with Amir and Chappell as Moriarty begins a new over bowling to Wayne Madsen, who pushes that one back to the bowler, fields it nicely off his own bowling.
Yeah, I think realistically the main damage in Derbyshire's power play was Alex Thompson.
Yes,
so
that is true.
their spinners are a very different style, especially the off spinner. Don Bess is a lot shorter, he bowls it quicker, he bowls it flatter.
Moriarty bowls, it's turned.
Alex Thompson does.
Yeah.
He's the one who's got the extra purchase out of the wicket and got the 3 main wickets, coupled with a bad decision, really, a rush of blood from Shah Masood to go dancing down the track first ball. It was a bit brain dead to me, but David Milan got one that stuck and bounced and he edged it, and Adam Life was lazily rocked back and just chipped it to cover. It's a very soft dismissal, followed by Sean just giving it away.
Yes.
So yes, the pitch isn't great, but it's not 25 for 6 in a power play bad.
It doesn't feel like that.
Derbyshire did bowl well, but Yorkshire played dreadfully as well.
In the same way that it wasn't a 76 all-out pitch in the red ball game this time last week. Moriarty bowling his 3rd ball of the over. He went for a single off his 2nd to Wayne Madsen, who moved to 8. Now Lloyd has picked him off for a single and moved to 30, 87 for 6.
87 for 2.
2, yes. It's not 6 at all. What am I talking about?
I'd be a bit more nervous if it was 87 for 6.
I'd be terrified. Yeah. You said 6, of course, and that's stuck in my head. It is Moriarty bowling. Madsen clips that nicely into the
2.
leg side. They're thinking about 2. They're going to get 2 as well. As a little bit. There's a big bit of a juggle. That's Don Bess down there.
And he got jeered for it as well.
He's going to get some stick when he goes back to the boundary's edge now. There's 1 or 2 refreshments have been taken over the course of the day. 89 for 2. 10 to Madsen off 10 deliveries. That's what Madsen's been doing this season, starting at a run of ball.
There's that turn and bounce we were speaking about.
Madsen did well to pull his bat out of the way of that one. It wasn't taken cleanly by Ferreira either behind the stumps as the over comes to an end. Just 4 from it, the best over of the Yorkshire bowling innings so far. But at 89 for 2, Derbyshire need just 42 runs to win at less than 3.5 an over now. They still have 12 overs left. Duckworth Lewis, for comparison, says 47. They are 89 for 2.
Don Bess comes back into the attack from the pavilion end.
Don was worried early, not Don Bess. Don Dietrich was worried early that we might not have enough time to get some reaction in. I think we've had plenty of time to get some reaction in. Live long on, gives the thumbs up to Jonathan Doidge and then pulls a bit of a face as that one is pushed out into the offside by David Lloyd. First ball of the Bess over. What's he saying? Yeah, he's basically saying
he wants to have a bowler, I think.
Well, he hasn't bowled much this season from memory. I don't think he bowled at all in the game up at Headingley. As Bess is in, and that one is cut away by Lloyd, but straight to the fielder on the edge of the circle at cover. 3.5 and over the required rate. 89 for 2, Derbyshire. Best bowls, and that will help, will it? Yes, it's got through the man out cover.
Really dived over one.
He should have stopped it. There's no question about it. We're into the 90s now, Derbyshire. 93 for 2, 34 to Lloyd from 16 deliveries. And there's that smell again. Bit of liver and onion gravy, possibly. Best bowls, that's a brave thing to put on for VIPs, though, I always think. As Lloyd picks up another single down towards Lythe in front of us, moves to 35, 94 for 2. That is beautiful. I'm surprised they haven't already eaten now, unless it's the players' food at the end. They might well sneak in and get somebody.
Fingers crossed.
That one is slog swept by Wayne Madsen in front of square, out towards the man at a straight mid-wicket, James Wharton. He picks up another single, moves to 11.95 for 2.36 to win now. Can they win it inside 12 overs? That'd be nice. That one is lifted out into the offside by David Lloyd. There was a fielder on the boundary, so he only picks up a single, and at the end of the over, Derbyshire with Lloyd on 36 and 96 for 2-7 off that one. There is a complete and utter lack of jeopardy. They lost 2 wickets in 2 overs, in successive overs. But by that stage, and it was only the 4th over, and Aaron Donald had already got 22. Morris Rees had got 23, and they'd only had 23 deliveries between them. So they've got rattling along, and now David Lloyd has sort of maintained that momentum. His strike rate has dropped to 189, which is still pretty decent. Wayne Madsen's just dropped below 100. And that's enough of that. Here's Dan Moriarty.
The crowd is singing along with it, Fletch. It's welcome up a bit.
Well, they love it, don't they? But we're all individuals. First ball is pushed out towards mid-off, and there's no run. Moriarty ready again. Lloyd waits and goes back, gives himself a bit of room, cuts it away out towards the point boundary. Revis does the fielding. Some defiant cries of Yorkshire. 97 for 2 now, 37 to Lloyd, 11 to Madsen. I'll be fascinated to see what it does to the net run rate. Madsen on strike. Moriarty is in and bowls to him. He clips that nicely into the leg side. He fancies 2 here if there's a juggle. There isn't. And they stick to 1 as a round of applause for Dom Best for fielding cleanly. Out on the mid-wicket boundary in front of the hill. 98 for 2. Moriarty bowls. Lloyd punches it down the ground for a single. Everything very comfortable indeed at the moment. That 1 ball has bounced, hasn't it? 1 ball from the spinners has bounced, whereas Alex Thompson got them to bounce. Samuel Patel got them to bounce. Both turned it. 99 for 2. Moriarty bowls. Madsen pushes into the offside. Shan Masood will field at extra cover. And there will be another dot ball. Still plenty of overs to go. 10 after this one as we approach the halfway stage in the Derbyshire chase of 131. 99 for 2. That one is dragged down a little bit by Moriarty and clipped into the leg side for a single. The Derbyshire 100 is up, and that is the halfway stage. 100 for 2. 4 runs off the over. Yorkshire got to their 3 figures in the 16th over. That is get behind your batters. What on earth does that mean? The kiddo's gone mad on the microphone. I think he's trying to G the crowd up as well.
Going, I thought they'd be a little bit more lively with the dominant nature of this performance from Derbyshire. I thought they'd be getting stuck into the Yorkshire players a bit more singing as well, but it's just too easy.
Madsen on strike as Best begins a new over from the pavilion end. He's pulled into the leg side for 1. They're going to come back for a comfortable 2 as well as Wharton does the fielding. 102 for 2 just.
And now they're singing now.
Yeah, 29 runs required. The Derbyshire supporters are confident now. Didn't take long. Best bowls a sweep by Wayne Madsen. the least unlikely shot you're
I think
ever
looks
likely
like
to
there's a
see.
few people leaving.
There'll be Yorkshire supporters presumably trying to get out of the car park. Good luck with that. 103 for 2. Madsen moves on to 16. I'm right near the top, but it'll be a while before I can go. We've got to de-rig everything here. There's Bess is in again. Lloyd clips it up towards Lythe at long on. They'll go through for one more. Lloyd moves to 39. From 23 deliveries, 6 fours and a 6. 104 for 2 now. 27 to win. Bess bowls. That looked a bit quicker, and Madsen slightly discomforted by that one as he tried to pull it into the leg side. Perhaps a bit of turn. Didn't connect as he might have liked. Bess bowls. There's a Yorkshire defiance. It's not coming on the pitch, it's coming from the stands. As a single is taken by Madsen, he moves on to 17, 104 for 2. I wouldn't like to be a Yorkshire player too far away from the pavilion when the final runs are hit, if I'm entirely honest with you. Lloyd flexes his knees and then lifts that into the leg side. He's going to land safely. It's Revis who does the fielding. A single is taken. He moves on to 40, and at the end of the over, it's just 5 off that one. 105 for 2.
6 for 2.
6 off that over. The scoreboard's too slow. 6 off that over. 106 for 2. And a run of ball is clearly more than enough. They need less than 3 and over from here on in. But it seems that these two are content to do that. You haven't got the big... Wayne can hit the ball a long way, don't get me wrong, and so can Debbie Lloyd, he's already hit a 6, but they're not sort of the archetypal big hitters, are they? They're manipulators of the field.
Yeah, I think they're just being sensible now, and just they've already won this game at a canter and just seeing it home to get the job done, rather than new batters coming in and having to start, and it'll slow the run rate down even more. If you keep ticking over at 5 and 6 and over, win this game with 5 overs left.
106 for 2 then. Dan Moriarty from the Lake End bowling to David Lloyd, who launches it out for 6 out to cow corner. That's gone a long way. No, it's been dropped in the crowd as well. A gentleman in a red top made an absolute meal of that.
There you go, Flex. There's some big hit on for her.
That's what we want to see. 112
There's stuff to give them.
for 2. Just having a look at the scores elsewhere. Northampton need 23 off 16 balls with 6 wickets in hand at Durham. They should win that. Lancashire need 39 off 18 balls with 5 wickets in hand. Could be a bit of a nipper at New Road as Lloyd pushes the next delivery from Moriarty into the offside. 6, take a single. Excellent cricket. He moves to 47, 113 for 2. That isn't how the modern cricketer thinks, I know.
It's not, no, but it's universal, isn't it?
I love
Hit
it.
a boundary, then get a run. It's always followed by a shout of good cricket from someone in the sideline.
Some half-witted knows nothing about the game. Moriarty bowls, he's dragged that one down, and Wayne Madsen's missed out a bit there as he cuts it straight to the man at backward point, who throws it in, and Ferreira is not best pleased with that throw. He's wringing out his left hand. I think it was Wharton who threw the ball in from backward point. Here comes Moriarty, bowls, and Madsen lifts it into the leg side. It was aerial for a while, only as far as the 30-yard circle. He picks up another single, moves to 18 off 20. His partnership worth 64 now, 114 for 2. 17 to win. Moriarty bowls, Lloyd goes back and just guides the ball nicely out to the cover boundary where Revis does the fielding, moves to 48, 115 for 2. On course for his second T20 half century in Derbyshire colours, David Lloyd. Excuse me, and Derbyshire needs 16. Moriarty is in. Madsen just turns that one into the leg side. The Yorkshire bowlers can do nothing about this. It's brilliant. And it's the end of the over, and I think it's 117 for 2 when Madsen moves on to 20 when the scoreboard catches up. Come on, come on, come on. That's locked. But I think that's the score. It would be good if the scoreboard stayed alive so that we knew when they were going to actually get to victory. That's 116. They are 116, so 10 off the over. And Derbyshire need 15 more runs to win. There's an appeal for leg before wicket from Don Bess. Wayne Madsen sort of looks quizzically back at him. Yeah, outside the line. Nothing doing from Graham Lloyd. No need for that either. That's disrespectful too. Be the bigger team. Moriarty, Bess rather, bowls, and that's been swept by Wayne Madsen before. I mean, he never ceases to amaze, Wayne Madsen, does he really? 120 for 2 now, Derbyshire. 23 to Wayne Madsen of 24 deliveries. And they need 11 more runs, and they are home and hosed. A big win last night, an important win last night against Leicestershire, but a massive win here against Yorkshire. Their 7th in a row in T20 cricket at Queen's Park, as that one is off a pad, I fancy, down towards a short fine leg. Yep, Graham Lloyd points towards his knee, taps his knee rather than pointing towards it. 121 for 2. Derbyshire need 10 to win with 8 wickets in hand and 7 overs and 3 balls in which to get them. I think they're going to get there. Here it comes. Bass again. Lloyd clips it down the ground. Bess does well to get across and field it, and then he almost takes out Wayne Madsen, who almost stands on him. And in the end, it's a dot ball. 121 for 2 it remains. They're going to finish this game earlier as Bess is in, and that one is clipped up towards long on. Lyth comes around to do the fielding. And Lloyd is not quite in danger yet of missing out on a half century. Moves to 49, 122 for 2. They're going to finish this game quicker than the games that started at 2:30 at New Road and at Durham. And we started at 3. Slight delay due to the weather as Madsen picks up another single, moves to 24 by pushing that one out to Wharton in the leg side. It's the end of the over as well. He might still be in danger of missing out on a half century. 123 for 2 at the end of the over. 7 off that one.
Winning raffle prize tickets, 270 on the yellow.
270 on yellow, everybody. If you've got that on your raffle ticket, nobody even tried to sell me a raffle ticket. I'd have had a go. I've been gypped.
You were here at 8 a.m. in fairness, so they normally do it when you come in.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, that's a fair point, though. A fair point. Derbyshire need 8. And it's Wayne Madsen on strike on 24. And it's Jordan Thompson bowling from the lake end, and Madsen pushes it up to mid-off. There is a slight misfield from Adam Lyth, but they weren't going to take the run anyway. So therefore it's a dot ball. We're going to finish this one hopefully in the 14th or 15th over. We'll be interested to see what it does to the net run rate. It was already better than Yorkshire's. They will be 2 points better off than today's opponents as well, as Thompson is on his way in and Madsen takes a step towards the Yorkshireman. Clips that into the leg side for a single. He moves to 25, 124 for 2 with Lloyd on 49. He's looked entirely unruffled, David Lloyd, throughout this innings. 49 off 29 with 6 4s and 2 6s. It's been a terrific knock from him. He waits now as Thompson is on his way in, bowls, and he tries to pull it into the leg side. Everybody, bar the bowler and the wicketkeeper, appealed for leg before wicket there. The only 2 players who could actually really tell. There was a loud appeal from Shan Masood, who was quite a wide mid-on. That's cricketers for you. 124 for 2. Even the most optimistic outfielder couldn't have imagined that was going to be given by umpire Kettleborough. The man at mid-wicket has gone a little bit straighter. Thompson bowls, and that one is turned around the corner by David Lloyd, and there's his half-century. A terrific half-century from David Lloyd. The Red Ball skipper, his second half-century of the season for Derbyshire. He gets it off 30 deliveries with 6 4s and 2 4s. 6 fours and 2 sixes, whatever I said. I can't remember what I said. What did I say?
6 fours and 2 fours.
Yeah, a lot of absolute nonsense. I'm drifting here. What are you drifting?
You've lost concentration, Flex, because it's over, isn't it? It's game over. It's too easy.
Pretty much. A 6 would do it here. Thompson in and bowls to Mountain. He pulls that one into the leg side for another single. No idea what that noise on the line is. Apologies if you can hear it. And they go through for a single. Madsen moves to 26. 126 for 2. 0.95 runs and over the required rate. I think it makes Derbyshire favourites, I'm not sure. As Thompson is in and bowls to Lloyd. He's bowled him. Jordan Thompson gets one underneath David Lloyd's bat. And for the second time this season, the first against Birmingham, he's out for exactly 50, David Lloyd. Slightly disappointing. Bowled by Jordan Thompson, the man who makes things happen, who hasn't really made things happen today.
Yeah, it's a disappointing one for David Lloyd. He's played beautifully there. He'd have liked to have been there at the end, not out and see the team home, but he's done his job. He's got the boys over the line with a brilliant knock of 50 as he walks off, raising his back to the crowd at Chesterfield.
He looks massively disappointed to have been dismissed. And guess who's out there for the winning runs?
Captain Fantastic.
Captain Samit Patel. Northampton need 9 off 7 with 5 wickets in hand to beat Durham at Wantage Road, and Lancashire now need 11 off 7 with their 7 down at New Road. A couple of really exciting finishes there. Notts lost, if you didn't hear, by 9 wickets with 88 balls remaining to Birmingham Bears. Notts bowled out for 57. Real shame. Here's George Hill for the first time.
Oh yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
What time to come on and volley first over?
When it's turned into the leg side by Wayne Madsen, who picks up a couple, moves to 28. Why? I don't know why. So 125 at the 126 at the end of the day. Well, thank you, Woody, because it would be it was only 2. Yeah, I'm all over it. 128 for 3. Here goes Hill. In and bowls to Mountain, who pushes this one out into the offside. It's going to be picked up by Shan Masood, who will have a shot at the stumps at the strikers. And Samit says, it's all right, Wayne, I've got this. I've got the winning runs here. Don't worry about it. You just keep yourself fresh at the other end.
Just stay not out.
I'm sorted here. Thank you for coming. So Derbyshire need 2 to win. That's Samit Patel, who won the game for them last night, let's not forget. Probably deserves this moment in the, I was going to say sun. The sun has gone. He marks out his guard, and George Hill is going to be bowling to one of the most experienced T20 players in world cricket, with Derbyshire needing 2 to win. He bowls, and Samit goes for the... no run there, Wayne, get back.
It's a short one from George Hill, and it's gone for the pull, Patel. It's hit him on the arm, I think.
We all know what you're doing, Samit. I don't blame him. I'm not blaming him in any way, but it's amusing. It's just keeping me going now. Here he goes then. Hill on his way in to Samit Patel. Derbyshire need 2. He bowls. Samit turns it into the leg side and gets a single. Oh dear. There's a direct hit as well by the fielder. Samit was leaning on his bat already at the non-striker's end when the bails were removed. And the scores are level. Derbyshire are about to win against Yorkshire at Chesterfield for the 7th successive time. They've won 6 in a row already. I'm sure you said that in the intro, Don. Here goes Hill, bowling to Wayne Madsen. 1 to win, and there it isn't, as it's fielded well by Hill on the way back. We have to wait. Samit just been down the wicket to tell Wayne just to block the remaining balls and bowl of the over, and I'll take care of the rest, Wayne. Don't worry.
I'll finish the job.
I'll finish it off. Here goes Hill then. He's in, he bowls to Madsen, who pushes this one out into the offside, and there it is. Wayne Madsen picks up a single. The ball does go to the boundary. He will get the boundary. I don't know what the rules are exactly. Yeah, he picks up 4. He moves to 34. Derbyshire 135 for 3. They win this one by 7 wickets with 5 overs to spare. That is quite the thrashing. Wayne Madsen finishes on 30. Well, he's got 30 on the board, and it matters not. It matters not. They've won this one by 7 wickets, a half century for David Lloyd, 22 for an Aaron Noel, 23 for Lewis Rees, and if we're the scoreboards to be believed, 30 for Wayne Madsen. The players shake hands out in the middle. It has been as comprehensive a victory as you could wish to see, although not quite as comprehensive as last season when they won by 144 runs, which was a real thrashing. This one's just been a general all-round thrashing, really. We will have time, because 5 overs remain, have time to get you some reaction before we go off air at 6 o'clock, which is excellent news. I'm not entirely sure who we'll get, but we will try and get, perhaps try and get a couple of players out and have a chat with them. It keeps Derbyshire's hopes alive in the T20. Victory at Leicestershire last night, and now today here at Queen's Park against Yorkshire means that they are still very much in contention to qualify for the knockout stages of the T20. They'll play Lancashire on Thursday night at the County Ground. I think you're with us for that one, Woody, again?
I am.
Woody, the good luck charm, is back with us for that one as Derbyshire win this one, done by 7 wickets.
I have a feeling there will be quite a few of the players that fancy a chat about that result after this display this afternoon as the players head off to the left-hand side. You can see Sammy Patel getting the high five from the Yorkshire coach actually there as they make their way down into the pavilion. They've done it at a canter today, Tom.
They have, yeah. It's a really dominant performance from Derbyshire. From start to finish, they were superb and thoroughly deserved the win there.
If you'd offered Mickey Arthur this on Friday afternoon, 2 back-to-back wins Saturday and Sunday to set them up to go into the remaining few group matches, he would have absolutely bitten your arm off at this, wouldn't he?
He would have done, yeah. You can't ask for much more really from Saturday and Sunday, sorry. Good weekend, 2 games, 2 wins, and to put the exclamation mark on it today with a really formidable performance is brilliant, and leads them with some good momentum running into the back end of this tournament.
7 wins in a row then here against Yorkshire. What is it about this ground that Yorkshire just seem to buckle under?
Yeah, I think it's just the change of conditions. The wicket is very different to normal county ground wickets, and they just struggle to adapt to it, really. Like we've seen now, Derbyshire have scored 130 to 3 or 15 overs without, pretty easily. So the wicket's obviously different, but it's not horrifically bad. You can't score runs on it. It's just one team adapt better to the conditions than the other.
Speak about moving from format to format, it was the County Championship captain who has come into this one and got a half century, David Lloyd, on fire with the bat.